day 1 and 2 pa lang, sobrang dami nilang pwedeng i-expect. Right?
Exactly.
But,
Simula pa nga lang. Actually, I was looking at the matchup. Kung tutusin yung dating, well, yung Bren kasi, yung dating Bren was either main, di ba? Which was the very first MPL Grand Champion, very first MSC Grand Champion. Tapos yung naka-matchup nila, sino?
yung
Yung pinakabago naman na pasok ngayon dito sa Pro
yung
Scene.
bagong bata ng tagapagsimula ng Either Main.
Exactly.
Wow.
Kumbaga, na talaga yun, mga anak na yan.
Yeah. No, but again, Brenny Sports, the very first Brenny Sports for ML was once Either Main para sa mga hindi nakakaalam.
Yes.
And yeah, how poetic is it that it's parang pang-anime talaga eh.
Exactly.
I know, right?
Parang yun eh, yung anak niya, tsaka yung mga apo niya. Gano'n sila yung maglalaban.
Yeah, crazy. And it's not like Bren Esports kind of left, doggy,
Exactly.
right? Like
Right.
let's talk about it like this. It's just that people grow out, right? I mean,
Exactly,
over the
yes.
past 2 or 3 years, Either Main has been so strong.
Right.
May nangyari na eh, di ba? May nangyari na may Either at may Bren sa isang MPL.
Exactly, yes.
But it just so happens that Bren is a little more consistent.
Right.
So, Doggy did something right with that first batch.
Right.
And I think the last time we saw most of them complete was Season 3.
Right.
With Payne at the helm and, the rest of the guys who are now still somewhere around the Season 6 playoffs.
Right.
Andyan pa rin si Hayes. Andyan pa rin si Few. Well, Few is,
Ay,
Few is
no.
from Signal.
Few is from
Yes.
Signal, yeah.
Ribo's still
Ribo
around.
is here.
Actually, you know what? Looking back, a good chunk of them are elsewhere now.
Right.
They're busy with other stuff. But Paolo, I gotta ask you, what does the weekend look like? Let's call it the weekend kasi Thursday pa lang ngayon pero maaga ang ating masayang araw. So what do you think about this playoffs?
I think that tama nga kayo sa bottom bracket na parang grand finals na, kumbaga yung mga matches na nasa baba. And same with the semifinals actually. Like either Aura PH could win or Onyx PH could win. Tas maybe kalaban nila either, most likely Bren statistically obviously. So it's like di natin alam kung anong mangyari sa grand finals, kung sino ang lalabas sa grand finals. Because the semifinals could be considered as a grand finals already.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. If anything, all of these matches, all of the best of 5s are all worthy, right? Storyline-wise, technicalities-wise, matchups-wise, parang ang daming pwedeng himayin eh. But, of course, to get to the very last day, to get to our best of 7, ladies and gentlemen, kailangan natin pagdaanan. Let's start with day 1, right?
Right.
And the very first matchup for day number 1 is going to be Signal Ultra versus Execration. And, ladies and gentlemen, it's been told that this might be a battle of order versus chaos. Order meaning Signal Ultra, hashtag Ultra Almado versus Execration, known in their, correct me if I'm wrong, almost 6-season run in the MPL. Right? In one
Right.
shape or another, nandyan na yung parang skeleton or foundation ng Execration.
Right.
Yes.
No?
Exactly.
And they're known to be super explosive, 'di ba? And some would say chaotic. Kasi minsan pag pinasok mo si Zapnu, nagpa-pop off siya, Ultra Instinct. Pero minsan kapag finanel mo si Hate, it's just something else entirely, right?
Right.
I remember from season 4, I believe. Yeah, season 4. It was the Funnel the Hate situation wherein it was a Leomord with a Rafaela and Estes down mid, finish it under 20 minutes, under 15, right? But ladies and gentlemen, real quick, kilalanin natin ang mga teams na ito before we start talking about the nitty-gritty. And first off, let's see what Signal Ultra is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, your roster lineup for Signal Ultra. Once more real quick, pakiscan po ang QR code na nasa screen if you want to support Signal Ultra, hashtag Laban Ultra. You have Hades, Ria, Sujin, Imba, DJ, ang LA Tenorio na MPL, Ben Sanity, and of course, Yeb Meister, si Kuya Denver nyo. Alright, so, real quick, Paolo, what is Signal Ultra looking like? What kind of gameplay can we expect from them here at the playoffs? Because we've seen them the past 8 weeks, no? And I believe they started out as a team who was finding their identity. They were more like, in addition to the to the 5-hero band system, parang kinikilala din nila yung sarili nila eh. They're making a name for themselves to build up to a legacy that was set by the very first Signal Ultra in the MPL. But we'll talk about that later. Back to the question, what do you think we can expect here from these guys led by Imba DJ?
Actually, for Signal Ultra, napaka-unpredictable ang gagawin nila. Kasi they are the only team, I believe, in MPLPH na naglabas ng Saber Core, okay? And it was actually successful at the time. And they are also one of the few teams that actually plays Claude in the gold lane, okay? So they're not afraid to experiment their drafts, alright? Also, I want to point out, very subtle sila sa social media. So they don't really expose anything, right? Compared to the other teams, other teams could, for their players, nagpo-post sila ng BP, and then based off that BP, baka may nakita silang hero na, hidden pick that they could have revealed to the public, okay? But for Signal Ultra, they are very low-key when it comes to social media. So there's no, you're really gonna be surprised.
Exactly. Para silang very mysterious sila, kumbaga.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about BP, that means like battle results, right?
Yes.
Okay. So even battle results alone, Signal Ultra is very low key. You don't know what to expect from them, and that's something I think we should look forward to. Because again, you mentioned Saber, you mentioned Claude, and these are all things that might come out. So I'm hoping something crazier, no? Baka may mas baliw pa.
Also, something to add on is they're not a team that proclaims that, okay, we're gonna throw out a new meta. They just do it, right?
Right.
They're not gonna post on social media and say, okay, may bago kaming meta next week, okay? There's other teams that do that, and then by the time you wait for it, and then the game happens, tinitingnan mo yung game, tas sasabihin mo, kakamot ka na lang sa ulo. Okay, nakita ko na yung meta na to eh. This is the Diggy feeding strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've already seen it. A lot of teams tried to replicate the Diggy feeding strategy of ROPH, but it was never on the same extent.
Right.
The effectiveness of it was never the same.
Yeah, and I think this team is the kind of team that will let our actions speak for themselves.
Exactly, yes.
And that's why I'm super excited. Chin, your thoughts on Signal Ultra in a bit. But first, let's watch what their opponents are all about. Sino nga ba ang Execration? This is your roster lineup for Execration. You have Hate Sagitno, previously known as May, dun sa mga nakakilala sa mukhang yan, from previous seasons of Execration's performance. Benny Cutie, Etu Max, Chaknu, aka the Chak Mamba, and Zapnu. Alright? So, Chin, again, we agree, and I think it's just historic, right?
Yes,
that
super.
Zapnu has been chasing
Exactly.
the trophy here at the MPL for the longest time. And us casters, and even the fans, iba-ibang hashtag na yan, season after season. Hashtag give Billy a trophy, hashtag Exewin, hashtag it this time. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And it's this chase that really just adds this whole new flavor, another dimension to what the matchup could mean. No? So, what does Execration mean right now when they say X a shot? What is that one shot that they can take?
Well, hindi ko naman kasi alam actually kung ano yung kung ano yung own personal plans nila. Basta for me, kahit na hindi masyado natin nakikita sa numbers and sa stats, si Billy or si Zapnu, I think is an extremely big factor dito sa Execration. I'm not saying na he's actually like coaching or anything like that. Pero kasi si Billy, si Zapnu, from the very, very start, isa talaga siya sa mga kilala kong pro players na extremely passionate about this,
Mhm.
about what he's doing.
Mhm.
Kahit na ganyan siya sa social media, kahit na kung ano-ano yung mga pinapost niya, behind closed doors, ay nako, ibang klase puso talaga yan.
Yep.
Kahit ano like, I think even in MPL Season 1, they lost,
Mhm.
may nag-trending siyang photo nun, umiiyak
Yes.
siya sa stairs.
Yes. I can't discount how that one picture just has so much emotion.
Exactly.
Paulo.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say actually, and he just got it. So may napatunayan na si Zapnu, and I know a lot of people are bashing him, especially after his performance against Next Play, where his Tamos did not really perform so well. But he's already proven himself in the MPL and just in the Mobile Legends community as a whole, right? So he has nothing else. He doesn't need to do anything else
Yeah.
to prove himself.
Yeah,
right.
and again, we can't discount the fact na kung sa, how do we say, when it comes to a personal note, we don't know for sure, but Shin, you're saying Zapno is a very dedicated person.
Right.
He really cares about what execration means, and for this team to succeed, no. Pero yun nga, I'd like to add to that and say that there's always a parang ultra instinct mode that whenever Zapno comes in, given that he's a sixth man, and sometimes his Tams or any other hero that he might play, maybe Badang, I don't know, that's a Zapno trademark right there. It kind of just adds to what everyone else is doing, diba? It kind of makes Benny Cutie do better. It makes Hate a little better.
Right,
It
right.
makes Eto Max do more, right? So may potential din doon para maisahan ng execration ang Signal Ultra dito. But that being said, I gotta ask now, sino nga ba ang lamang? Who's coming in with a better preparation? Who's coming in with a more sound draft? Mentally speaking, who's more prepared? Because you did say, Paolo, that Signal Ultra, they're very low-key. Signal
Yeah.
Ultra, you don't know what they're thinking. Diba? Hashtag Kalmado Ultra. Or Ultra Kalmado, whichever it is. I think both works. Hindi natin alam kung papasok ba sila na mainit because they are one of the teams that's, well, actually the only team that's on top of the records when it comes to first bloods. Sobrang maasahan ninyo, guys. 3-man, 4-man rotation led by Imba DJ. They'll take the first kill, and chances are they can convert. But that being said, Paolo, we'll start with you. Sino ang lamang when it comes to this best of 5 right here coming in? Signal Ultra Execration.
For me, it is execration, pero hindi super, one-sided. Okay? Sa mga view ng mga tao kasi is the crowd favorite is execration, obviously.
mhm.
They have the big fan base.
Mhm.
But if you look at it this way, once Project Next drop, yung laro ng Signal talaga nagbago, I promise you. And I can see that the determination between the coaches and the players when they huddle up, nakikita mo naman sila sa draft, nagdidikit sila, may game plan talaga sila. They know their win condition. Not for example, if you look at the other teams when they draft, they let their coach handle it on the phone and they're kind of just like away from each other, right?
Lalaroin na lang.
Right.
But for Signal Ultra, talagang naghahandle sila sa team and they're very, very team-oriented and determined to take this. And again, unpredictable. So they do have a chance, but I still think Execration still has that slight, advantage.
Mhm. In just a bit, we have the numbers to try and prove that. But we'll let the data speak for itself when we come back. But first, let's hear what the players have to say about this next matchup. Let's hear directly from them, Signal Ultra and Execration.
Captain, ito Max, ikaw na ngayon yung captain. Ano naman yung journey ng Execration ngayong Season 6?
Ngayong Season 6, bago mag-start yung season, syempre sobrang excited kami dahil nga alam namin, nahanap namin yung role ng bawat isa, tsaka sobrang ganda ng performance na lumalabas sa amin, tsaka mas nakikita ko na mas lumalakas pa yung team namin ngayon, tsaka alam kong mas lalakas pa sa darating na playoffs.
Captain, kamusta naman ang first season, rookie season nyo as a team? At ikaw as a player dito sa MPL?
Okay naman po, kalmado lang. Mag-practice na kami para sa group stage, tas para makapasok sa playoffs, tas para mag-champion syempre.
Zapno, gaano ka-importante itong MPL Season 6 para sa organization mo?
Siguro, every season naman, importante talaga na manalo kami. Pagpapalagay na natin na win or loss, okay lang. Pero para sa akin, malaking bagay sa akin na lagi kami nanalo. Lalo na makuha namin tong championship na to.
Sobrang laking achievement ko sa akin kung makuha namin yung champion dahil yun nga, sabi ni Hades, galing kami lahat sa baba and then ginapang namin lahat ng hirap paakyat.
Since season 1, although na nag-champion na ako sa mga ibang tournament like MPC, pero gusto ko rin talaga mag-champion dito sa MPL since day 1. Since season 1.
Who do you think is the biggest threat or obstacle dito sa competition natin?
Silang lahat, actually. And at the same time, ourselves. Alam mo yun, walang limit yung skills eh. Lahat pwedeng mag-improve, lahat pwedeng lumakas. But then, yung pwedeng maging limit lang talaga namin para sa self-improvement namin is yung mga sarili namin. That's why as a team, we're practicing mentally, psychologically na Signal Ultra lang malakas.
Yeah, Mister, kamusta naman yung itsura ng teams pag nakikipaglaban na sila sa mga idol natin sa MPL mismo, regular season?
Well, at first, andun yung pressure. Pero andito ka na sa pro scene eh. Kailangan buo yung loob mo, lahat ng pinag-aralan nyo, ng pinractice nyo, kailangan ilabas mo eh. So, yun yung kailangan ilabas ng team. So, I think, worthy rin naman kami mag-champion.
We do hope na makuha yung championship.
Yeah, thank you.
Ano gusto mong sabihin sa mga fans ninyo, tsaka sa mga makakalaban nyo sa playoff?
Sa mga katapat namin, galingan natin pareho. Alam ko lahat tayo malakas.
Mga kalaban namin, siguro, digmaan na talaga. Dito ng mga batang pasaway.
Bale sa fans, shoutout sa inyong lahat. Salamat sa mga sumusuporta. Laban Ultra.
Tsaka sa mga kalaban namin siguro, may panahon pa kayo para matras.
Strong words from Eto Max. Pero feeling ko huli na eh. Hindi na pwedeng umatras. Nandito na tayo eh. Right?
Yeah.
We've already built the fight up. And based on the video alone, kita mo naman na yung mga boys natin from Signal Ultra, just like, yeah, oh, hindi, ganito, oh, salamat, yan. Tapos yung execration, di ba, mga batang pasaway, sila nagsabi, di ba, sila nagsabi. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to talking about the matchup. Once more, isang malupit na best of 5, laglaga na pagtapos nito. Sino nga ba ang uunsad? Sino ang makakarating sa semifinals? Once more, Signal Ultra versus Execration. Let's talk about this. You mentioned that Billy has been here for the longest time, right?
Exactly.
And you mentioned that one of your first experiences was at the MPC.
MPC.
Nabanggit niya rin, di ba? Gusto niyang mag-MPL champion, hindi lang sa MPC. So, with that being said, Chin, feeling ko babalikan natin yan eh. We'll talk about the history in just a bit because we have the stats coming up next. And I think the stats will speak for themselves, no? Paolo, you said, numbers-wise, it looks like Execration has the lead here. And this is a little confusing, guys. Pagpasensya nyo na because Signal Ultra, sila yung blue na bar. Okay? Tapos, Execration, sila yung red na bar. Okay? So, let's...
colors balik tayo.
Yes, but it makes sense kasi left and right. So, let's get to it. KDA-wise, parang mas planchado ang mga numero dito ng mga tropa natin from Execration, right? Although they are neck and neck, 8th and 7th, although they are from different groups, sakto na ganito ang nakuha natin, no? So, consistency-wise, it just shows that they're both just willing to sacrifice, they're willing to trade, no? Match win rate, though, Execration has won more matches. Paolo, why do you think this happened?
I just think na mechanically wise, as for the players, they're just more talented, I would say. But obviously, Signal has the potential to surpass that, right? That's why it shows that Execration has a higher match win rate than Signal as of now. Right?
Yep. And I think the very next statistic is where Signal Ultra makes up for it. More makes up for it. Because for a team with the hashtag Kalmado Ultra or Ultra Kalmado, sila pa talaga ang medyo may gigil factor.
Gigil
Right?
sila sa early
Yeah,
game.
look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Our top placer when it comes to first blood counts beats out all players or all teams in the playoffs brackets. First place, they count 19 first bloods. Okay? Chin, how important is this? Yung gigil ka. How important is na medyo may intimidation, na bubulabog ka simula pa lang?
Actually, you know how people or everyone, like tayo din, we talk about how Signal Ultra is kalmado. That's why nga Kalmado Ultra yung ano nila yung tagline nila. Pero actually, personally, you said kasi na gigil sila sa simula and like may intimidation factor. Actually, para sa akin, parang baka baliktad.
Interesting.
Para sa akin, baka ganito para sa akin, baka yung Kalmado Ultra, maybe they're saying those things to themselves.
Actually, yes.
Feeling ko ganito. Mas may experience ang execration, right?
Yes, for sure.
Signal Ultra, this is their first season.
It's the
ganito.
it's the rookie season for this lineup.
Have you
specifically.
ever seen a team na kalmado pag first time nila?
You're right.
For me, maybe sinasabi nila yung sa sarili na maybe baka dahil kalmado sila, hindi sila masyado nagre-react kanina during the interview, right? Whereas yung execration boys very feel at home,
Comfortable na.
Comfortable na.
Yes.
For me, maybe sila yung kabado. Baka kabado ang Signal Ultra. Baka sinasabi nila kalmado lang tayo, boys.
You know what? I will validate that.
Maybe.
Yeah, actually, I talked to Yeb Meister the other day, and this is something that he tells all of the players. Diba? He does say that, guys, kalmado lang tayo. Kasi dyan lumalabas yung performance ninyo. So you're right. I think it is both a hashtag to intimidate people and say, uy, kalmado lang kami. Kayo. Pero it's also a reminder.
Right.
Makes sense, Chin. Makes sense. But ladies and gentlemen, here's another head-to-head comparing turtle control rate and, again, execration. Ahead by about, give or take, 3 or 4% down to the decimal. Lords per game, mas maliit naman. Pero dikit pa rin. And of course, unique hero picks, ladies and gentlemen, these two teams, the most versatile in the league. 43 heroes played across 8 weeks of regular season play. Paolo, how impressive is this?
That is super impressive. Kasi napaka-importante sa MPL ang malawak na hero pool. Okay? And this is what these two teams show. Okay? But for Signal, I feel like since right now, I have a feeling that Imba DJ will show something that we haven't, maybe we have seen from another region, but not yet here in MPL PH. Hopefully, he surprises us with a pocket pick.
Ooh, you know what? I think to add to that, parang kaya rin siguro gumanda, sabi mo, ang performance ng Signal is because they're at home here in the 5-hero ban system.
Yeah.
Right? They're at home here because of how versatile they can be, given that, if memory serves me right, silang unang naglabas ng Balmond na gumana.
Okay, yeah.
Off of Chujin, right?
That's right.
Y'all remember, Chujin Baldeballen, gumana. But for execration here, Chin, I gotta ask, you know these guys, right? Ganito rin ba sila sa totoong buhay? Ganito rin ba sila outside of the MPL? Are they just as much risk takers as Signal Ultra? Mahilig din ba sila mag-practice ng mga heroes?
In terms of siguro history, like looking back even to other tournaments outside the MPL, actually yes. Like the first time I've seen the alpha pick in an actual tournament, was in the hands of Zapno also. Like this was not televised. It was more of
a community tournament.
Yes. So yes, I think maybe they also have that din naman in their pocket maybe.
And they wouldn't have this number, right? They wouldn't be so neck and neck kung hindi talaga ginagawa nila yan. And I already mentioned.
With Signal Ultra.
Against Signal Ultra, yes.
Yung parehas sila eh.
Yeah,
so, kumbaga.
Yung badang. Anyways, Paolo, you're saying?
Now that he mentioned Alpha, he recently got buffed, so I feel like I might see an Alpha core at mid and then like a marksman gold lane. That just a prediction for me at least that I wanted to kind of share with the viewers. Okay?
Possible, right? Yeah. But of these 43, ladies and gentlemen, ito ang mga pinangungunahang piliin ng Signal Ultra at ng Execration. You got the Khalid, the Kufra, the Cho, and for Execration, they're sharing that Cho in 3rd place, but they also like that Farsa and that Roger. Remember these heroes kasi pag-iinitan to ng dalawang teams na to when it comes to the draft later on when we begin the matchup. We have another head-to-head here, and this is their latest match history, meaning within the season, and a match history from down the line. Alright, medyo iba ang mga lineup nila when it comes to their Season 3 and Season 4 history, but nonetheless, same team names, same organizations, and this is what we can expect. The last time that Signal met Execration was in Season 6. I think this was just early on, no? Nung first time na magkita ng Group A at B.
Right.
And Execration won. Signal Ultra versus Execration in Season 4. Again, guys, iba ang lineup na to, pero panalo pa rin Execration. Feeling ko, yeah, if I can remember correctly, like looking back, medyo this was more than a year ago, medyo malapit na yung lineup ng Execration dito. So lamang sila in that sense that magkakilala na sila,
Right.
they know each other's play styles, and they've been together for the longest time. I think the Chak Mamba, ito yung isa sa mga unang pakilala nung Chak Mamba when it comes to the MPL. And then, way before that, nung season 3 pa, when we were at the Le Pavilion in Pasay City, in Metro Manila, Signal Ultra versus Execration won. I believe that was that, unless that's actually a regular season matchup. But, Paolo.
But I wanted to point something out. Yes, tinalo ng XA yung Signal for a bunch of these seasons, but who has the ring? Who has the trophy, right?
You're right.
Right? Signal has won before
You're
as an org.
You're talking season 2.
Yes,
Mhm.
as an org, but XA has never won before as an org,
Yeah.
for the MPL at least.
Yep. Well, that being said, yun ang distant past. Let's look at the
Yes.
recent past, our last game history. Signal has been on a losing streak. They lost their 2 last games, while Execration, they're coming off of momentum. They're jumping in head first dito sa playoffs, full speed. No, let's look at their lineups here. Signal Ultra, they drafted a Xborg, Yusen Shin, Kagura, Khalid, and Cho lineup. Paolo, what do you think of this draft here, given the bans also?
Oh yeah, by the way, this match was pre-Project Next.
Hmm.
So it's definitely gonna look way different on what the drafts that we're gonna see today, alright? Nakikita mo naman si Atlas na baban, Loey na ban, that is pre-Project Next. Loey is not picked as often now. Atlas is not picked as often now, you know? So it's like, it might be a different story this time around. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Medyo context lang to. Like, you're seeing how much they love the Cho here, and you're seeing how much Execration on the other loves that Farsa, right?
Yeah.
That's all it's saying. But when it comes to the specific heroes and how it interacts with the rest of the metagame,
Mhm.
parang magbabago pa rin.
Yeah.
Right? Magbabago pa rin. Chin, I want to ask you, you still see the Ling here for Signal Ultra in their second game, makita natin sa screen. And then, you look at Execration, they pick up the Roger, right? How does that interact with the funnel? Kasi Roger, before Project Next, nagpapakita na rin siya eh. Diba? And Project Next kind of introduced this whole, the jungle is an actual place now. You should place heroes here. How do you think this is going to spell out for this next matchup?
So yun nga, this was pre-Project Next,
Mhm.
right? So for this, for their draft there, I don't know, maybe I think it was just, I think they were out-drafted. Like for me, like Roger can't jump out because of Kufra, Khalid can't move because of Kufra, and in the late game, Ling will tear up Roger for me. I think Ling is a late game hero. So kung mapaabot nila doon, supposedly, hindi, sorry. I'm sorry. Nanalo pa lang ang Execration doon. So I guess they were banking on the late game and then they failed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Execration was probably able to shut them down early on pa lang.
Yes. So this is a little bit more of a complex head-to-head, no? Very interesting yun kasi ang dami niyang layers. But this one, it's as direct as it gets. Mano-imano. One-on-one. It's Chujin versus Benny Cutie, our side laners, no? Paolo, you were saying?
The reason na magandang matchup to is both these players are capable of playing mage, playing fighter, and playing marksman in their their offlane, the gold lane specifically. Kaya ito, kumpara mo talaga yung dalawang to, di ba? Si Benny Cutie nagwa 1-1, nag-Alice, Esmeralda, Chu, he's very versatile. Same with Chujin. Balmond, Claude Avarice emblem na siya sa gold lane. Nagwa 1-1 na rin siya from what I know. And he has many other fighters that he could actually pick in this gold lane. So, yeah. But I think Benny Cutie has been proving himself in the Execration team. He's been a big impact in the results of Execration.
Yeah, stats-wise, Benny Cutie is a little more reliable.
Mhm.
You can expect for him to, if not pop off, at least do good, do okay, kahit na hindi siya masyadong i-baby nung mga tropa pips niya. I mean, for sure, Chaknu is more hands-on when it comes to hate. And of course, Eto Max will be there as well. But yeah, moving on, I think after head-to-head, we are also going to be looking out for a few more stats, and this is going to be our lane predictions. Signal Ultra, I think hindi naman mahirap sabihin na Imba DJ will be sticking to the mid with Ben Sanity, and then despite the gold lane, the gold lane changes to Project Next, Hades will still be relatively a core, almost always, for sure 100%. No, Paolo, do you agree with this?
With the formation, I think Shujin should be in the gold lane since he's the one capable of playing the marksman role. Pero ang maganda dito with Signal is they're actually capable of changing their laning phase kasi napaka-versatile sila.
Yes.
It's not just a 1-3-1. It could be a 1-2-2. It could be a 1-1-1-2. Like one guy in the jungle, one guy at top lane, and then one guy at mid, and then two people at bot. So it's like there's many choices for Signal Ultra.
Yep. Which makes possibly this lineup right here just as valid, no? Pwede na mangyari to eh. So that's one strength that they have against Execration. But Execration, I think they have the same situation. I think Benny Cutie should be in the gold lane.
Yes,
right?
yes.
With Sajitnu, a very reliable off laner, going to the EXP lane, while of course the Chak Mamba picking out his angles, yung mga Pythagorean, mga acute, mga what other kind of angles are there for him to take with those jumps and those initiates, and of course Eto Max. Again, I really like how this matchup shows that a lot of their engages start with their utility supports, their captains, no?
Right.
Eto Max and Imba DJ. Tas syempre, Funnel the Hate, man. Funnel the Hate, established 2019. I think if they let that happen, maganda ang labas dito ng best of 5 na to na Execration. Chin, your thoughts? What do you think we'll be seeing from Execration?
Actually, tingin ko like pwedeng parehas eh. Like I've seen 1-2-2 on Execration.
Yes,
I've
yes.
seen 1-2-2 but not on the gold lane. They've done 1-2-2 EXP lane.
EXP lane on the Claude. I remember that.
Right.
Yes.
So they've done that before. So I don't know, like they're also trying new things eh. Like
Yeah.
Signal Ultra,
Yeah.
'di ba?
And given a team that's as experienced as Execration, hindi malabong mangyari. Right? And because I think I was informed prior to the beginning is that they have a coach now. Sire is joining them once more in the
Yeah.
boot camp. But we'll talk about Signal Ultra's keys to victory. An early snowball, for sure they want to do that. This goes hand in hand with the win before 18 minutes, given the very high percentage of games that Execration won in the late game, as well their unpredictability. Paolo, you mentioned that this team, they're so quiet, they're so low-key.
Yeah.
Hindi natin alam kung ano ilalabas nila. But also, they have a balanced team composition. Let's talk about that one. What makes this team so balanced?
Ang importante ngayon sa patch na to is, before Project Next, you are able to actually finish the game with just early game heroes. Even if you don't scale late game, you are capable of finishing the game even without late game heroes.
Prior.
Yes, before Project Next. But after Project Next, a lot of these games are starting to be longer, all right? So you really want to build your team composing of early game heroes so you don't get bullied in the early stage of the game, and late game heroes just for security if the enemy team ends up defending super well, prolonging the game, and that's why it's very important to build a balanced team comp.
And I think this feeds into the last point, no? Wherein, if you're able to plan for early game, I think that's where Imba DJ comes in. Magandang scaling nung support niya in mid. It protects most of the map. He can rotate. It allows Hades and Tsujin to do well, whether in the jungle or in their side lane.
Yes.
And I think that should lead to Signal Ultra bagging it in this best of 5, eliminating Execration. But Execration's not just gonna lie down. No way. All right? This is their list of keys to victory. They have to secure more objectives, given na medyo gigil nga ang Signal Ultra. They are more likely to get the first blood. If they're able to, deny the conversion, they can make more takes, then they will make it into the late game, which is their key here. Survive until the late game. Alam nyo naman guys, yung 18-minute curse is what they call it, which has been denied once. Parang napigilan siya isang beses, but the stats speak for themselves. Still very good. And of course, they have to draft based on their team strength. Paolo?
The point here that says secure more objectives, the point of that is for Signal Ultra, since sinabi nga natin na they're very aggressive early game, and the stats show they have the most first bloods, right? For Execration to actually kind of just, Signal might have more kills, but Execration, bumabawi sila sa objectives. Yun yung kailangan nilang gawin kung gusto nilang manalo against Signal, right? And to survive until the later stages of the game.
And to survive until the later stages, you have to make sure that Hate is still there.
Yes.
You can't deny the fact that Hate, after Project Next, has been somehow supported by Benny Cutie. When they started to give him 1-1, parang meron na, like, the load, the pressure is kind of split, right? So that brings to the last one here. Chakno and Benny QT must go online. Sino na ibig sabihin nun? Chakno and Benny QT must go online. For you, what does that mean? Seeing that these boys could potentially take it down the wire. Medyo baka mahaba ang laban nila eh.
Itong si ano kasi, si Benny Cutie, kahit side lane yan, parang core din yan eh. Parang side lane core talaga siya eh, di ba?
Yes.
Like he's actually carried Execration like a bunch of games and even in regular season. So that has to happen again. Like isa sa mga pinakatumatak talaga sa akin nun was the Alice game. I don't know if you guys remember
that was
Diba?
crazy. Yes,
Grabe
that
yung
was
Alice
crazy.
niya doon. And also for Chakno naman to go online. Actually nag-start siya mag-trend nung Chak Mamba sanity, like what would you call it?
Kasagsagan ng Chak Mamba.
Kasi
Mamba mentality.
because of his because of his insane sets.
Yes.
So pag nakapag set siya ng maganda dito, that's what it means when he goes online.
So it's not necessarily that he gets farm
Right,
or
yes.
EXP or it gets to build his hero
Right.
to prime position, but it's for him to do
go
his
Super
thing.
Saiyan. Yeah.
Yes, yun yung
Yes.
Super Saiyan niya.
Oo.
Essentially,
Tama.
to find his angles, to engage from weird max distances, and to peel. Right?
Right.
So, definitely super excited. Again, ladies and gentlemen, abangan ang Execration versus Signal Ultra. It's coming up real quick. I know you guys are super excited. Hayok na yung makita ang draft, and in just a bit, we're gonna be seeing that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, once more from the panel, my name is Leo, joined here by Chin Valdez and Paolo Expert. We're going to be throwing it over to our casters. Simulan natin to. It's Execration versus Signal Ultra.
Let's go, Signal Ultra. Hashtag Laban Ultra.
Signal Ultra. Hashtag Laban Ultra.
Go Signal Ultra, Laban Ultra.
Go Signal Ultra, Laban Ultra. Hashtag Exashot.
Hashtag Exashot.
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 Hashtag Exashot.
Hashtag Exashot. Exashot. Good luck po.
Exashot. Let's go, Exe.
And you heard the fans, you heard the panel, and for us casters, this is going to be the first series of the MPL PH playoffs. We are going to be your shoutcasters. I am going to be your anchor butters. Alongside me is Rob Luna. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
Definitely excited. But just hearing the panel been talking about both of these teams, I mean, I really wanted to see the draft already, brothers. And by the way, I would like to congratulate you. Actually had an awesome outfit for the playoffs.
You gotta step up, man.
Yeah.
But again, I like the turtleneck. By the way, I like the turtleneck. It suits you. But then again, let's not compliment each other so much.
Yeah.
Let's head in to our game proper. This is going to be Execration versus Signal. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 5. This is single elimination. What do we mean by single elimination? If you lose a series, you are out of the tournament. That is how cutthroat this playoffs is gonna be.
Definitely. And this is actually the first time that we had since season 1 to 5 that we were single elimination, and the only time that you're gonna be playing twice is if you actually get into the round number 2. But that's only you will be having a battle for the third.
That is actually one of the things, or the perk of making it out of the first round. At least if you do fall, you can get that third place. But nobody wants third place, second place.
Of course.
Everyone wants to be the champion, because remember, there's a saying, nobody remembers second place.
Just only the champions, definitely. And I really like to see. Would you think that there's going to be a possible upset? Like the panel said, of course, both of our series today has their own underdogs. Like for this specific series, definitely that Signal Ultra, because this is a battle of the first seed and the last seed of each bracket. But of course, there is more than 2 weeks of preparation going into this match, and that is something to note, because that preparation can be a game changer definitely for Signal Ultra.
To be honest, Rob, looking at these teams, like, you don't really have enough grasp of whatever they prepared for coming into the tournament, coming into the playoffs rather. Because as we all know, Project Next dropped by the 5th week of the regular season.
Yeah, and it's actually been so meaning to say, both of these teams. Well, like I really like. I just remembered what Paolo said earlier that
What?
Signal Ultra did manage to grasp the meta coming from the Project Next. Well, I definitely Execration do, since they went from like bottom 3, or rather top 3 of the bracket A, jumping into the top seed because of Project Next.
Yeah, and clearly, if you can see that, there is this thing about Signal Ultra that we don't really know what they want to do in this playoffs. Because as we all know, even a week break, even 2 weeks, even just 1 week, even just 3 days, you could find something new to incorporate into your current strategies, current tactics. Then you can just show and throw off people just because they don't really know what you're gonna bring them. And I'm pretty sure, Rob, that these teams, they avoided each other during the downtime that we had, that 1 week break that we had. There was no interaction between these two teams. There were no scrims. There were no ranked games between these two teams. Even if they did have ranked games, they would not be showing anything at that point on, because they will be keeping it. Because remember, you might win on the rank game, but the thing is, if you cannot win the most important part of the MPL, which is the playoffs, it wouldn't really matter. Let us head onto the draft. A bit of a zoom out there.
Yo, that
Kinda
was
saw that.
production, man. But yes, we've already seen already the bands, the first phase of the bands already been placed. So cutting up Natalia, Barrett, and Uranus for the side of Execration. Basically, that's a no-brainer. But whoa, they're being cutting heroes from Hate and Benny Cutie here for the side of Signal Ultra. So what else is open right now? Khalid is open, one of the Execration first pick that they're giving, but they're going for Yuzhong. That's definitely a sag of 2-0.
Khalid, however, is open. That is actually a question for me. Maybe Execration really likes the Yuzhong capability of Sagitnu. If Sagitnu can be comfortable as possible, can be as comfortable as possible into this tournament. Look at that, 75% win rate.
Yes.
How often do you see that?
Not really, but what I could say on the previous results of what Sagitnu's been playing for the Yuzhong is he's actually becoming like the pseudo carry, or rather the pseudo tank for the team. It's like he's the one who's going onto the back lanes, of course, of their opponents. And with this kind of first pick that they now have a chance, or rather an option, to put Benny Cutie into like a marksman role that they're usual. They sometimes put him on a 1-1 just for a late game potential. But I do like here the Hilda, which is somehow we're not seeing. Probably we could make a little reference from the previous MPL coming from the other country, which is Indonesia, which is Hilda isn't a priority pick on their meta. But here in the Philippines, we've been seeing it once again coming from, and that's a Ben Sanity hero for sure.
For MPL ID, we did watch that. They didn't really like the Hilda pick as much there as it is in the Philippines. But right now, Execration here, they just go for a Kufra. And let me remind you guys that there's this certain pattern that Execration is doing, that whenever they let go of that Hilda onto the other side of the pickings, they would just go for that Kufra. Because they know, Rob, that onto the other side of the map, Hilda is gonna do something, so that means he can do something as well on the opposite side.
Yes. And most likely Rhea here. Oh, I'm not really sure if that's good. If it's Rhea who will be using it on Signal Ultra, definitely it's not gonna be the one like doing the invades. I was actually thinking why Hilda if it's Johead is still open for their side. So basically this might be a side laner Hilda, which are not we often not see, because most of the time Hilda is gonna be going for a tank, just doing poke damage and going into the buffs of course of Execration. Given that they do have this Selena, most of the time Hilda user here just gonna get all the traps that's gonna be being placed on level 1 just to help, or at least take a lot of time for them to be taking the buff.
Clearly, as you can see now, Rob, the Selena, you did mention this, they picked it onto the side of Execration. Now, what does that do? It puts a bit of an offset onto the side of Signal Ultra that they cannot pick the Farsa. They cannot pick those stationary heroes that can just control and
Yes.
have no mobility in a way. Valor is kind of a safe pick just because of the innate purify that he has with his ultimate. But as long as people here do not get hit on the side of Signal Ultra, especially that Hilda and that Ling, I think they're gonna be safe. Now, what is Execration lacking in terms of their draft?
The Lancelot has just been banned right now. Definitely,
Mhm.
that's gonna be a no-brainer for the side of Hate. But they are also one of the teams who uses like Esmeralda onto the mid and somehow 1-1. So I'm thinking of a late game hero here for the side of Execration. Probably a 1-1 or even Esmeralda is still gonna be a thing for them. What else? Claude is still actually open from this one. But I really like, just to point out, Butters, that is Sakuragi. That's not gonna be Chaknu for me. That's something. Look at Chaknu right now. That is that's a playoffs form.
I mean, you can't really talk. You know. Your hair is blue right now.
Definitely, this is a basketball theme as well. My name's Kuroko no Rob, and by the way, I would like to point out that Syre was already been here.
Syre is here, ladies and gentlemen, for the whole regular season. He wasn't there. He was the registered coach of Execration for the longest time, but this is the first time that we are going to see Syre. So that means there could be a discovery here that has been made during the time when Syre entered that boot camp of Execration.
Yes, and for sure, an additional brain is just gonna be more
How
useful
important
for
is that?
them.
How important is that?
Well, for coaches, of
Whoa!
course. Wow!
Let me cut you off there, man.
Go ahead, man.
Let me cut you off there. Etomax here, securing that. I think that's a Benecutie hero.
I guess so.
That is a Leomord.
Yeah, that might be a Benecutie hero. Even I think that might be a Sagitno hero because if I remember it correctly, on the previous Execration way back season 4, even on season 5, it's been using the Leomord and it's very fantastic user. I mean, he's really doing well for that specific hero. Not something we see into the meta right now, but this is the playoffs. This is where we put all of our pocket strategy, and I don't think that Signal Ultra is ready for this pick.
Bensanity here with the last pick. It's going to be a 1-1 side lane. So if Execration went for that double carry setup, that double carry hero, core hero setup onto their side, what stops Signal Ultra from doing the same? It's going to be a Ling and the 1-1. Very strong. How do I say this? They are strong in terms of just the laning. I think 1-1 is one of those heroes that can get in, get out, and clear the waves as not really as fast as possible, but you can have a bit of a security that you can't get chased that easily.
Yes, but what I think right now, Butters, is that it's gonna be hard to pierce through the lineup here of Execration. Yes, they do have here a 1-1, but these two fighters here for the side of Execration can just simply build a lifesteal, like a Bloodless X, then just go for an Antikythera, then probably just make it a tanky core. And 1-1 will definitely not gonna be killing. Probably he can go for the Harriet or even the Selena, but they could build Winter Truncheon just to cancel the crossbow of tank. And aside from that, where gonna be the damage coming from the side of Signal? It's only coming from Hades. He needs to snowball at least on the early to mid game.
And a lot of things are going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen. There could be a lot of invasion coming here from the side of Signal Ultra. Execration here will try to get the win as early as possible as well. I think in terms for the side of Signal Ultra, they just want to delay, thus entering an aggressive state for the side of Hilda. But let us see, this is the first game of the MPLPH playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be a fun one.
Definitely. So now just looking at for the Hilda, if it's gonna be doing it, it's actually spotting it, looking. Oh, I like that one. But yeah, the Hilda is just checking if the Selena was just placing trap, I really like what we're seeing, how the items are being placed in front of our screens, ladies and gentlemen. So probably we could talk about how, or rather the winning conditions of both teams. Execration probably has an easier way of going into the late game. I mean, in terms of late games, Execration Heroes definitely can scale on the late game. But for the side of Signal Ultra, since they are also one of the teams that they have a higher percentage in terms of first blood because of their draft as well, that really works during the early stages.
You know what? I would actually say that Execration here is going to have a harder time in just winning this, because I see 2 points here. You go for a Harith and you go for a Leomord. Now, what does these two hero need as much as possible? They are item dependent.
Item dependent and ulti dependent, and as well for the Harith, at least he must have his purple buff at least.
Yes. I have actually 2 points, and you did say the second point. They are ulti dependent.
Yeah.
Now, when you're ulti dependent, what do you usually do? You wait for the right time to fight. And when is the right time to fight, Rob? When is the right time to fight?
The right time to fight is when you see your enemy. No, just kidding. I think the right time to fight. Well, that just gives us its own winning conditions, and that's where the Selena and the Kufra was for the side of Execration, because they're gonna be the one to make it hard for Signal Ultra to snowball onto the mid game, or at least the early game. And this is the usual poke coming from Imba DJ. This is this healing necklace. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be buying at least 2 of them.
Yeah, Sagitnu here, having a bit of a scuffle against Rhea, but you know what Sagitnu says? That I have my passive with me, so you cannot really just, bully me out of the lane. And as you can see, Bensanity here doing the things that we expect him to do, and they actually missed that. Imba DJ, he steals the buff. Can they get a kill? Bensanity here, one more hit that could have done the job. Etomax here with the burn. That's going to be the first blood. Look at this. Hate and the others, they're really just trying to control the lane, but Imba DJ here, he is given that purple buff, and that will put him at a very significant standpoint in terms of advantage.
Yes, and this just proves that Signal Ultra is very good at initiating on the early game, and we've seen it already. And even but the arrow will
gets hit,
but a very timely. I mean, it's very timely that the Garrett was not going to be hitting, and a flicker coming from that Imba DJ. Wow, man, I guess this is the first minute and it's already in the zone for Signal Ultra.
We did get the first blood, and ladies and gentlemen, from October 27th to November 13th, please log in the game and participate in the Tricksters Village event and get Halloween candles for treasure spin. Each spin will cost 4 Halloween candies, and you can get up to 7 each day from completing tasks. The Rizla special skin Hammer Giant is guaranteed within 10 spins. You do not want to miss out on this one. Terizla gets a special skin, but you can log in on October 10 to 26 and win a skin. You know what? There are a lot of things happening here into Mobile Legends, and right now I'm actually seeing a lot of events. So make sure you check those out, and you always log in the client.
Definitely. And there's something new here on the playoffs, Butters, that we're not just giving away home. We also have a pause giveaway. So for you waiting here on your screens right now, you do have something to do while we're waiting for our players to sort up their connectivity issues. Just log into the redeem code of MLBB for you to be able to win awesome prizes, of course, given to you by Mobile Legends. Now, going back on what actually happened on the very first minute of the game, I really like how aggressive Signal Ultra. I mean, this is their signature, to be honest. I mean, going in, invading the purple buff, and I'm really surprised that what Execration did is to fight it off. They know that will happen, and they chose to fight. There's a slight, I think, the retribution coming from Hate was like a split second early.
Because early.
And that's where a normal attack coming from Imba DJ got it. But now, a slight lead, of course, from Signal Ultra.
At this point, at this stage of the tournament, you cannot be making those mistakes that you miss a beat or skip a beat in terms of your what do you call this, retribution.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. You need to really just adjust to everything that the enemy team is doing, and they won't stop at that point. Checking here, that was maximum range. That was maximum range.
Maximum range, but unfortunately there is a Raging Tornado coming from Rhea just to get it. But I really like how Ben Sanity is just checking where execration heroes are, or even constantly checking the buff, and it's Hate. Look at him. He's just level 3, and Imba DJ, which is a support, is level 4.
Yep. And clearly, Imba DJ has been getting a lot of kills. He did not have to leave the lane to get mana just because he had the purple buff.
Yes, and they're really starving Hate right now. But I guess, is Ben Sanity overstaying his commitment here?
I think Ben Sanity is perfectly fine at this point. They do not have that. They do not really have that, you know, pushing capability to put her out of the jungle. But for Execration, they slowly but surely just try to get as much as resources as possible here. And look at Ben Sanity. He goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in the jungle. It may be right side, left side, but all the sides here are covered by the side of Execration. And Hades here going for Tempest of Blades. That's going to be the bouncing ball. It will stop the Ling. And Execration here gets a breather.
Well, I think that's a little miscommunication. I mean, Rhea should have alerted them that Shaginu wasn't in the lane, because they got flanked, definitely, by the Yu Zhong. Maybe he's just really looking onto getting the tower on the top lane and not really paying attention that his lane, I mean the one on the lane is not in there. And that is something to note here, at least, Butters, because the Yu Zhong will just definitely go to Imba DJ no matter what.
And that is true, Rob. Now, seeing how the game is going, as you can see here, Rob, there is another skirmish happening up top, and that means the kill will have a turret down hand in hand.
Yes, but here comes, look at the damage here. But I'm just trying to check if at least Hate already got his orange buff by the 4-minute mark. Now, going into the items, I guess Benikute just gonna go for fast BOD. Calamity Reaper for Hate, still not possible. But I guess he's still on the top of the goal for Execration at least.
Yeah. And just seeing it, this is the XP. As you can see, Hades here and Hate not having the same amount of graph in terms of numbers. They do not have, Hate does not have the privilege to just go wherever the hell he wants. Because that's the thing. The other team, when they have the Hilda, you cannot expect a free lane or you not expect a free jungle.
Yes, that's so unfortunate.
Oh, Etomax here. Can he get the kill on Hades? Hades here. Is he able to survive? Even with the turtle buff, even with that protection, he will go down. Now, that is an answer for Execration that they delay a bit of the Signal Ultra, Signal Ultra aggression. But when that happened, clearly, Execration knew that they had to push the middle turret. They knew that if they did that, it will stop the steam of Signal Ultra.
Yes. I guess it already over. But by the way, you can check here what are the emblems and as well with the spells been using both of the teams here on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. But going back to what actually happened, man, that was very unfortunate. Having both of your cores dying on the bottom lane is something to note for Signal Ultra. It's like their tank and support has already been doing too much of what they had on the early game, and we're already going into the mid lane and mid game rather. And they have to change strategy from this point.
And look at this, Hades here getting caught out. Etomax, the Tempest of Blade, knockup is there. Etomax, he will survive.
He did survive that shield actually given, but the Tyrant's Revenge will not be hitting from the side of Chaknu.
Will there be a counter engage though? No, Chujin, they still want this. Hate here going in. He knows that Chujin is in a very bad spot. Let us see. The crossbow of Tang is there. It will take that kill on the Selena. Chaknu still going at it, and he will take down that 1-1. Sujin biting off more than he can chew.
Yes, but meanwhile here onto the mid lane, it's that another one been taken by Signal Ultra. It's like Signal Ultra right now is just doing different skirmishes on aside the map, and they just going like side lane pushes, split push rather, for the side for Hades as well. I guess this works for the way they draft it, and they could be able to snowball coming in, but still, even with the lead for like 1,000 here, but Execration, I think they're still doing well.
Yeah, they're really still doing well. But you know what? I just noticed that Hayes went straight for a Demon Hunter sword. He knows that he needs to peel off a lot or take down a lot of these tanky heroes onto the side of Execration. He knows that he needs the extra health. So that's why you go for the Demon Hunter sword first. He's not that how do I say this? Confident in terms of the magic damage, so you just go for the Demon Hunter sword first. And that means that 1-1 could be the one who can go straight for a Blade of Despair. You could be the one who goes straight for a Corrosion Sight, because that means when that happens, they will have all the utility that they need to take down the people here from the side of Execration. But Sujin here with the flicker, nicely timed, not getting blocked by that bouncing ball. But would it really matter as Hate just jumps in? He has a Calamity Reaper, he has the Beast Hunter. What will he go for next?
Just checking in right now. I'm really sorry for that, Butters, but I was really caught up on how brave.
That is totally fine.
Brave Selena just going in and trying to cancel the buff of Hades, but I guess with no avail. But as you were saying, for the itemization, another skirmish. Target new, Mike.
And as expected, this is the match that we actually thought that it would be. Aggression for aggression. Binsanity here. You were tanky earlier, but you ain't so tanky right now, girl. You're not that tanky.
Not that tanky indeed. But look at the items here. I really like what you point out on Demon Hunter's sword. Now it's going for the endless battle. Yeah, he actually needs like a sustain. Still, there's damage, but yeah, Hades here not very confident that he could be able to pull up like an early BOD, like the usual other Ling players just go for BOD, endless battle, and get a defense item right after that. Demon Hunter is the correct item here because of the tanky type of heroes. This heroes with a fighter core is definitely high on HP, and Demon Hunter is the perfect item for that. Meanwhile, for the side of Signal Ultra, I think the 1-1 is somehow lacking for his damage. Yes, he has already Corrosion Blade, but still, with this 1-1 and as well with emblem, Marksman emblem here, Witness Finder, yes. You need at least 2 or 3 core items for you to be able to mark a damage at least.
And that's one of the downsides of having a 1-1. Because usually when you get that 1-1, but it doesn't really matter as Hades here is the... Whoa! Mad skills! Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Sujin here forcing Sagitnu out using that Black Dragon form. Hades here. Pixel perfect timing, ladies and gentlemen. There's still another fight happening as Rhea will just use the Raging Sandstorm to get out.
I like how the micro manage coming from Signal Ultra. I mean, that Link surviving that one. I mean, also coming from the Cooper as well. But here, the Zaman Force. But Heat, we've seen he actually doesn't have farm for the first 5 minutes, and now he's 3-0-4 in the KDA. He's already been leading Execration here in the mid game.
With that skirmish that happened, Rob, look at this. A lot of the ultimates here coming out from Execration is down. Black Dragon form is out. Kate, it just went up here. That Zaman Force, it wouldn't really matter as they will get a kill to just, you know, limit the forced engagements that Signal Ultra can do as long as BenQt doesn't have the Phantom Steed. Now, for the side of Execration, this is good news for them that Hades is onto the bottom lane. Now, do they have a clue? Yes, they do. This is going to be the Lord take, and let's see if it's going to go to their side. Yes, it will. At the cost of Imba DJ's life, BenQt here will go down. Etomax will go down next. And will it be a triple kill? Let's see. Sujin here is the next target. That is going to be a price to pay if you go near the Zaman Force. And one man, oh man. 1-0-1-1-1.
That was a lot of ones, Butters, but one thing is for sure
Oh,
is that
no.
that Ling is just
Yeah.
too late. Here comes the Gillette instant replay. Hashtag shave the day. I think just a slide of it as for the side for the Leomord, he could be able to live on the crossbow attack, but unfortunately it went after the Selena, which is very squishy for execution. That's a kill, but still 1-1 is still dead right there. I guess it's a little bit too late for the Ling coming from the bottom lane, and a miss also made
Wow.
from Jack. Not something you see every day, ladies and gentlemen.
Hades just stepping it up, but he is needed onto the middle lane as that forced fight was happening, as that forced pickup from the side of Execution was happening. The Lord is pushing onto the middle lane, and what what Hades wanted to do there is just cut the creep wave.
Yes, and now look at the items here coming from Execration. Well, Leomord still going for damage, BOD into Endless Battle, but Sagitt do a guess, like what we said on the draft, that this was gonna be a pseudo tank, just going inside the right of the Black Dragon, just giving Signal Ultra a hard time and giving them out of position during team fights. And yeah, it's been doing well for this Yuzhong and worth the first pick.
Yeah, and look at this. If you can see the item progression here coming out from Signal Ultra, they're not rushing anything. They're going through the core items before they head on to those prized items, which is like a Blade of Despair, probably Queen's Wings if they wanted to. And as you can see, that's going to be a kill on 1-1. There wasn't even enough time to get all the weaknesses of his enemy for the crossbow of Tang. Rhea here is the next target. Raging Sandstorm was perfect there in terms of timing, and they will get away.
Yes, they will get away, but an arrow might actually connect here. Hades going in for Eto Max. It's not seen on the screen right now, but it's going in, but the Winter Truncheon will be there. Will that be enough? Not of course. But here, Zaman Force onto the bottom lane, Butters.
And they just want to push. They want to push, but Bensanity and the others, they want to fight. Look at this, 2-man knockup, Tyrant's Rage. Tyrant's Revenge is there. Bensanity here, still trying to fight this. Here comes the Calvary as Hades will come in with the Ling action. They will just disengage just because Zaman Force is already there.
Yes, that was 2 Zaman Force in one team fight. That's how long it is. And man, aside from Sagging, there's just been, if Hades has been stepping up for Signal Ultra, I definitely give it to Hate right off the bat because, man, it was just famished for the 2 buffs earlier onto the game, and now it's godlike.
It's all about Hate's cooldown reduction at this point. If you get that cooldown reduction, you are going to be in for a treat. As you can see there, there's a bit of a transition there between 20 to 25 to 30 seconds, and another Zaman Force was available onto the side of that Harith. Now, what led to this? I think it's probably the mystery shop, just because he is getting a lot of these items on time, just because it is lessened. It is lessened in terms of price.
Yes, like 10% if not mistaken, ladies and gentlemen. But here, onto the bottom lane. It's like what Signal Ultra has been doing for the past at least 5 to 10 minutes. It's just going into the side lane, doing split pushes. That's the reason that they have all those side inner turrets still up. Well, on the top lane, it's already been down. But earlier it is. But it's like they don't want to engage for team fights, and they're not really capable to do so. So now, Signal Ultra, just going a little bit back, we've seen that Leomord just going one-on-one with Chujin, and he also have a flicker at that time, and there's no time because the damage coming from the Leomord is totally nuts right now.
Imba DJ almost getting caught out.
Yeah, definitely.
Going back?
Yeah, going back, like what I've said, I guess what Signal Ultra is doing right now is just going for side lane pushes, giving Execration to react. If Hate is definitely gonna go to the bottom lane, and now it's up for Execration if they want to take the Lord or they want to react. And definitely they would like to react here, but I guess it's not gonna be the one to happen.
And this is a very bad spot for the side of Execration. Some of them are getting forced to go back into the base. Their utility combination is out. Sagitna here, trying to tank as much as possible. Sujin going for hate next. There is the Winter Truncheon. Crossbow of Tang will be cancelled. And as you can see here, Hate, will he go down? Does he have enough damage to take them all down? No, he doesn't. And Hades here, getting controlled by Benny Cutie, and that is going to be costly for the side of Execration.
Costly enough. That diversion coming from the Ling, man, misdirection, I guess is what I have to call it, because that was their play all along. I mean, they know that they wouldn't want to fight a 5v5. I mean, you've seen it. It's just 3 man from Execration, rather 2, because the Benny Cutie was just going back onto the middle lane to save, to get the minion wave. So it's just 2. Been fighting 4 members coming from Signal, and 2 of the members of Execration just teleported onto the base because their bottom tower is about to go down, which it is.
No retribution here for the side of Execration. How will this pan out? Yes, it's gonna go to the hands of Signal Ultra. And as you can see here, there is a Kufra takedown. Make that 2 takedowns onto the side of Signal Ultra. That is going to be very, let's see, how do I say this? Beneficial?
Beneficial.
For the side of Signal Ultra, to think that on the other side you have Benny Cutie, but on the other side you have a beneficial fight.
Oh, I like that one. You have Benny Cutie on the side and a beneficial fight on the other. But what's beneficial right now for Signal Ultra is that they secured the lore that they know that they don't have a chance in winning in a 5v5, but because they could be able to misdirect the attention from Execration, well, that's gonna save them, and they're really doing it very well. But now, Butters, just to butt it in, is that we are already on the 18-minute mark. We're in. Execrations are at its strongest, well, in data, or at least on the regular season.
And I don't think at this point, Rob, I think scaling-wise, it all goes to the side of Signal Ultra. This is still a 1-1. If Benny Cutie cannot take down this guy, or they cannot really one-shot this guy as fast as possible, I don't think it's going to be possible for Sujin to actually control them in terms of the fight. But as I speak, it's going to be the crossbow of Tang. That's going to be the flicker. He gets away. Ben Cutie here still on that Phantom Steed. Barbiel looking as fine as ever. And that is going to be the death of Hades. And Imba DJ here, next target, Winter Truncheon, delaying the inevitable. It wouldn't really matter. Ben Sanity, not Ben Cutie, Ben Sanity, ladies and gentlemen. Etomax here throwing it out onto the other side of the map, and that will hit game number 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Winter Truncheon's left and right. What is happening to this game?
It's like Ben Sanity is just going in and out on the brushes and just waiting for the cooldown and going in for a fight for the Selena. But now, still, Execration still not stopping chasing Signal Ultra here.
And they just collapsed. The composure of Signal Ultra here. Knowing them, they are known to be cool, calm, and collected. They made a fatal mistake right there. Ben Sanity just went down because he went into the vicinity or near the area of hate.
Yes, I guess so. But I guess Signal Ultra is still gonna be okay with that. Yes, their mid turret has been taken down, but they do take 2 towers on the top and the bottom, and I guess the mid turret is just 1 hit away from any core of Signal Ultra. Even Link could be able to 1-hit it, and there's gonna be no towers for Execration. And I think what Signal Ultra is just waiting right now is another diversion that was just they did on the very first Lord, but I guess Execration is not gonna wait that long.
Sagitno with the Black Dragon form going to the back lines. There is going to be that crossbow of Tang that Signal Ultra really wants to pop off. There is a stun, but Execration here got what they wanted. Patience from Execration.
Patience from Execration. I like that phrase, Butters. Well, patience versus calmness. Which one will actually win? I guess
those two actually go hand in hand.
I just come to think about it. It's actually almost the same, different words. But kidding aside, ladies and gentlemen, an arrow will hit Imba DJ.
But that costs them, because when you use that Purify, that means you are using your capability to fight, and you cannot go near the range of that brush at this point in the game. Because if you go there and you're in range, you know that Chaknu is gonna jump for you, and you don't have your innate Purify capability.
Yes, but now ladies and gentlemen, on the very first match here of both of these teams, been showing their playoff form, really deserve this one. Anyone who actually gonna win this one, but Lord has already been up. Now, what we're looking here is what will Signal Ultra do? Will they mimic what they did earlier? Sagittu and Hades just doing one-on-one onto the top lane. And I guess Sagittu will just have to stay on that lane.
Well, it is one of the things that Signal Ultra put onto their hands here in terms of just controlling the lanes. And Hades here almost going down. Look at the damage coming out from Metomax.
Wow.
Mastery of the hero is there. And there's another fight happening here. Tujen, he pops the crossbow of Tang. It's there. Hate goes down. Bencuti trying to go straight for Tujen, but Tujen fast on the decision making. He goes back.
Oh no, I mean, Hate going down is actually one of the damage dealer coming from Execration. This might be a very good time for Signal Ultra to try to take the Lord. And they're still chasing in, and they don't want to get. They know that Benikuti doesn't have an ulti, and now they're just circling around the Lord.
Yeah.
Well, Execration contest this one.
They're not really chasing down Execration at that point on. What that means that with Hate out, you go straight for the Lord because they don't have that retribution. And right now, Black Dragon Fort is there. Where does the Lord go? Chaknu got it! Chak attack, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to be a collapse onto the side of Signal Ultra. Chaknu here, the hero of this fight. Can they survive? Can they survive? That is the question. Benikuti here goes down in the process. They get the Lord. Will they live another fight? Will they live to fight another fight?
I guess so. I guess the death timer is still 40 seconds. Well, at least for Etomax it's 30. Signal Ultra needs to push this one. It's just Imba DJ.
It's only game number 1.
Yes, and we're already heading in almost 30 minutes. But I guess this is still a go for Signal Ultra. They can be able to punish Execration here. Yes, they do have the Lord, but they cannot go out. And probably Shaknu just did buy Execration some more time for this game.
And Hades, he wasn't really ready for that retribution.
Yes.
He was in mid-animation of the Tempest of Blade, and he couldn't have used the retribution at that point in time.
Yeah, that was very fortunate for the Ling. Now, we're back into square one. Both teams just have barely a single turret, both of them. But I guess Execration has the upper hand because it's the middle turret. And this is the fastest lane, probably. Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what can Signal Ultra do? Because Execration just not gonna wait for another Lord for this one. They do have an upper hand in the team fights.
And look at this, Bensanity, Chaknu here. They are just gauging up each other, sizing each other up, and they know that what they're capable of. It's just that Chaknu here keeps on getting these crucial initiations. Bensanity near the area. He does not let Chaknu jump out at that point. And Hades here, he is the primary target of Sagitnu as always. And as you can see, Tempest of Blades, Black Dragon form will be used. Hate is near the area, and with the Zaman Force out, Hades gets away.
Yes. So it's like Signal Ultra still doing the tactic that they have been doing over and over, just letting the Ling go onto the other on the side lane. And because, well, he can do it, he could be able to respond or at least help his teammates anytime he wants to. So now, I guess Execration, they have to turtle it out, I guess. Unless
they have to.
They could be able to get a pick-off. Aside from Imba DJ, definitely. If they could get a pickup, probably even Ben's Sanity is going to be crucial if they take it, because Ben's Sanity has been really insane and giving the vision for the side of Signal Ultra. That's the reason why this Ling has been capable to know who are the heroes available on the map.
Look at Sushin here, really having a hard time taking out that orange buff, but that orange buff is going to be one of their advantages here against Execration. Execration does not have an orange buff at this point in time, because those two buffs will go to the two main damage dealers of Signal Ultra. How important is that?
That very important, because that could be a buff for Benikuti. And look at Signal Ultra. This is somehow a squishy lineup, and having orange buff make it easier for him to deal damage for his passive when their HP is down 30%. But what's more is that Chaknu here is being circled by Chujin, and the crossbow of Tang might pull off here, but Black Dragon was here.
Oh!
Chujin!
Oh my goodness, that arrow coming out from Etumax! That could have saved the game onto the side of Execration, but Benny Cutie here going 1v1 with 1-1. 1-1 will go down. Etumax with the arrow. That probably is the play of the game right there. Shakno going 1v1 with Hades. Hades, what can he do? He will get away. That's the Finch poise, and this game isn't over yet, ladies and gentlemen.
This isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. That's gonna be another Lord, probably. But it's a sight to see. We've been seeing a 1v1 on the mid, on the other side, and there's someone on the top. Wow. I mean, they don't really like team fights, guys. They just want to do 1v1s. But now, I guess, we're going for a third Lord. In this game, this might actually drag off like a 30-minute or more.
And this is the most crucial part of the map right now. There is a Lord here onto the side of Execration. They can take it, but they will opt not to. Why? Signal Ultra has been getting a lot of these Lords just because there is no retribution at the times they get it. What does that mean? Hate is always down.
Yes, during the second team Lord, yes, Hate has been picked off. But I really like how Hades, man, he been onto the top lane, going into the bottom lane. It just, I mean, Execration could be able to take the Lord at time because 3 members from Signal was down, but they can't take the chance because the link is just free to go onto the side lanes and give them a hard time. But look at it, Hades might actually go here, but he's taking Etumax.
Etumax goes down. Hades, will he survive? Yes, he will. Hate here is the next target. Hilda there with the power of nature. Not really the power of nature, but the power of wilderness. Ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
he just slams people down. That ultimate.
This is what you've said, Butters. I mean, Signal Ultra has been getting the Lord because Hate wasn't available. And this is another time. And as well with Etumax, probably Signal Ultra could be able to pull off here. But Shujin is down. Would you think they would try to take the Lord? And Hades going on to the bottom lane. Still, I guess they're not comfortable to go for it. And Iba DJ dying
Benny
here.
Cutie having a good time with that Leomord, and as you can see, Ben Santi and the other Shaknu here with the bouncing ball, a lot of damage getting thrown out. Look at those swords just getting swung at on the side of Execration. But for Signal Ultra, why did they not go for the Lord at that certain period? Hate was out.
Yes.
Hate was out.
Hate was out, even Etumax, but man, they're not comfortable just having the Ling to do the damage because Trojan was out. I guess this is gonna get dragged for like 35 minutes. Wow, this is just the first game, Butters. This is just the first game of the MPL Season 6 playoffs, and both of these teams are really deserve to be here.
Okay, so I like what Execration did here, Rob. As you can see, Hades is on to the other side of the map. Now, Sagitnu went and told that to his teammates, and right now, Hades isn't in the area. There is a suppress there for Chujin. Crossbow of Tang will be negated. Hades is here. Black Dragon is here as well. And this is lore. This is lore specific, ladies and gentlemen. That's what really happened between Ling and Yu Zhong. But on that Lord is hanging by a thread. That HP is really low. Who will be able to take it? There is no retribution to the other side.
Did he take
Who
it?
gets it? Hades uses the retribution. It isn't really showing on the screen right now, but there is 2 Lords on the side of Signal. They got it, ladies and gentlemen. Signal Ultra here can just push. Lord is gonna come out. It's gonna go to the top lane. Now, that favors Execration. That is the longest lane that the Lord can go to.
Yes, I guess it's a blessing in disguise, but what's not a blessing for them is that 3-man down, and well, Hate is gonna live for here, but Hades has been very patient. I mean, he messed it up on the other Lord, but now he actually waited, and I really like how resilient Signal Ultra was there. I mean, they're just holding. I mean, Benny Cutie is just hammering them down, but here, going into the mid lane.
Rob, Maleficor on Hades.
Oh,
he got the
wow.
Maleficor. He just wants to push.
He wanted to push here, ladies and gentlemen, but Davenport coming from Hade, going in, left and right, dashing with the Chrono Dash. Rhea still alive, and all the damage from Hade was just wasted. But he died on hands of Eto Max, but the Lord is still alive. Are they going in? This might be
They
a
really
body.
Oh, that was the Lord swinging.
Signal Ultra taking one game from Execration. Wow.
And they are really happy with that. That was a long game. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the best of 3.
This isn't. This is the best of 5, but Signal Ultra, as we've been talking, even from the panel, that they were somehow the underdog from this match, but they showed how they deserve and how prepared are they coming into this match, and Execration need to step up because Signal Ultra is just not messing around.
Yeah, I mean, both teams did well at game number 1. They had plans, but in terms of execution, Signal Ultra was more on point. By the time that we got onto the late game, it was Signal Ultra who did the right choices at the right times. Now, there might be some saves coming out from Chaknu, leading the Lord, getting a good initiation, but at that point in time, if they cannot really stack it up for the side of Execration, Signal Ultra was just going to get the win. Now, looking at their fights, they were scattered all over.
Yes,
they were scattered.
They were really scattered, and actually, it's part of their strategy. I mean, just giving Hades the freedom to be able to go on others of the side lanes, and just giving Execration a hard time. I mean, if you would react or not,
yeah,
that's a question.
But we have a lot of things to say, but we will throw it to our solo analyst, Manji.
And crowd control. Meanwhile, Signal Ultra naman, I can therefore say it was not an easy road para sa kanila. Let's look at the item builds right now. Actually, ang gusto kong makita natin dito ay yung mga early game item builds para sa ating mga players. If you're gonna look at the early game para dito sa game na to, makikita natin na for the first minute up to the 4th minute, lamang na lamang ang Signal Ultra, but then again, bitin ang damage output nila dahil medyo delayed ang items dito ni Imba DJ. Going in for the 4 healing necklace na items yan, nawala na din. Gusto ko lang i-emphasize dito na hindi na makakapatay agad-agad ang Execration even though they have all of the crowd controls in the world. Bakit? Dahil ang pinakauna na nag-spike up ang Signal Ultra na kailangan na nilang lumaban is with Rhea's first ever immortality. Doon lang nagkaroon ng hope ang Signal Ultra na lumaban dahil from minute 4 up to minute 10, that is Execration's game to get. But then again, nahirapan sila. Let's look at the stats, ladies and gentlemen, of the game. Kitang-kita natin dito yung discipline ni Hades sa kanyang sa side lane push. The tower damage is interesting. That last part of the game na nakuha dito, yung Lord, sobrang crucial para kay Hades. He knows na wala dito ang Harit. And with that retribution na meron siya, boom, okay pa din. This is an interesting game kasi sobrang na behind ang Execration but it's okay. Harit has the mystery shop sa kanyang kamay. So kung madelay man siya ng 1 minute, okay lang. Bawi pa rin yun. Meron silang manakakuhang purple buffs dito and ito ang pinaka-importante para kay Hate. But then again, your victors for this one is Signal Ultra. Kung makikita nyo, Ben Sanity and Hades, yung contribution nila umabot na sa point na hindi mo na din mapapatumba ang Hilda. 4 yung bars ng kanyang HP. Kaya siguro umabot sa 40,000 yung nakuha niyang damage dito sa kalaban. Siya lang ang tumatangke, wala na siyang pakialam sa nararamdaman ng mga kalaban niya. Man, Ben Sanity on that Hilda, hindi man to yung type ng Hilda na talaga nang bubugbog, pero nagawa niya naman yung trabaho niya, maka-scout out and makakita ng kalaban, makapagbigay ng space para kay Hades sa laban na to. I can therefore say na 50-50 sana ang mangyayaring laban kung nakuha lang ng execration yung mga proper timings nila on that part. Yung mga proper clashes pala nila sa laban na yon dahil meron talagang mga outplays na nagawa ang team ng Signal Ultra na makikita natin ngayon sa smart highlights of the game. Ngayon, kung mapapansin nyo yung sinasabi nating early game na 4 minutes, I can therefore say it was Signal Ultra. Hindi kagad nakapag-level 4 si Hate at 2 minutes at ang kalaban niya dito si Hades ay nasa level 5, level 9 na. Meanwhile, bandang 6 minutes, after that 4-minute mark, nagkasunod-sunod dito yung deaths ni Chujin. After this, biglang mapipitas na naman siya dito. Kakapatay niya lang yan doon sa bottom lane at doon umarangkada ang Execration. It was Execration's time to shine. But then again, the problem here is that Chujin can definitely outplay in the late game. But the problem, without the ultimate, the Wu-Tang arrows, the crossbow of Tang, sorry. Ayan. The crossbow of Tang, kaya na siyang patumbahin agad. The dilemma right now for Execration is that, kung titignan natin yung pause dito, ayan, sumubok dito, which is actually sobrang commendable para sa akin sa Execration, si Sagitnu na kumuha ng team fight. He knows na kailangan nilang ilaban yon, but then again, the capabilities of the Ling, hindi ko naabot, maliit lang ako. Dito na lang tayo. The capabilities of the Ling to go 1, 2, 3, 4 na mabilis sa laban na yon, and then go back again, kailangan mapuwersa ang Execration, bumaba. Kailangan nilang mapuwersa na dumepensa. It rhymes. Wow. And because of that, nakakuha dito ng mga mini outplays ang Signal Ultra, but it doesn't still give them the chance to get the victory. Kasi, ladies and gentlemen, ang Team Execration, kung makikita nyo si Benny Cutie, wala na siyang eyes on target na siya. Kanino? Kay, ang haba, yan. Sana nakita nyo. Eyes on target na siya. Kay Chujin, lahat ng clash, wala siyang ibang tina-target. Kung ikaw ay naglalaro ng ML at nakaganyan ka at pipindot ka ng target hero, makikita mo, Chujin is the way. Pwede nga crush niya na si Chujin ngayon eh. Kasi kung titignan natin ang team fight, yun lang ang target ng Execution. Look at Chujin. Hirap na hirap sa buhay niya, ladies and gents. Hirap na hirap sa buhay niya. Benny Cutie is doing his job. But then again, the creep walks na nagmumula dito, kay Chujin, napakahirap. Yes, ang dami dito ng crowd controls ng Execration, but then again, wala sila nung hard, solo, easy target lockdown, kagaya ng, sabihin natin, Way of the Dragon, Kaja Ultimate. Ang meron sila, Pana, at ang meron sila, Chaknu. Yes, magaling pumana si Etomax, magaling pumana si Chaknu, but kapag pumasok na ang late game, mas mahirap nang mahuli ang Ling na Hades kung saan siya ang MVP of the game, and mahirap na rin hulihin si Chu Jin. Inuultihan lang sila even though meron kang Winter Transition. Wala eh. I think nasabi din dito ng mga casters natin na para sa side ng Signal Ultra is that kapag nag-late game, meron silang damage. Actually, meron din ng Execration. But then again, mas mahirap sa Execration makahuli. Teka lang. Oops. Natumba lang yung smite natin. Ayan, siya yung MVP eh. Mas mahirap sa Execration makahuli kasi nga, late game na. No? Ang bilis niya ng tumakbo. Wala nang ang boots. Hindi na kailangan kay Hades. Siguro kung tumama yung Pana, okay. Which is ilang beses din nangyari. Pero, nabasa na ng Signal Ultra. And with that, wow, 1-1 wins late game na ata talaga sa mundo ng Mobile Legends. Parang gano'n na yung nangyayari ngayon eh, no? Parang pag may 1-1 ka at lumagpas 18 minutes, sige na, pwede na tayo manalo. And with that, Signal Ultra getting the victory. And kung gusto niyo pong suportahan ang Signal Ultra, scan nyo lang yung ating QR code dyan sa baba and lagay nyo na din sa mga comments ang hashtag Laban Ultra dahil ayan ang kanilang sigaw. Siyempre, para sa mga fans naman ng Execration, nandito ang kanilang QR code and scan nyo lang yan or pumunta kayo, search nyo yung page nila para supportahan sila or ilagay nyo sa comments natin ang hashtag ExeShot. Siyempre, kung ikaw ay fan ng MPL, boom! Ikaw din ay pwedeng pumunta sa mpoph.official or scan mo itong code natin para ma-update ka sa mga latest news and happenings sa mundo ng MPL. Siyempre, para sa mga iba pa nating fans, kung naka-like na kayo, pwede pa kayo mag-fill up ng survey. Mag-fill up lang kayo, nanood ka na, nag-fill up ka pa, at nanalo ka pa ng mga rewards. Scan the code right now para manalo kayo ng mga rewards. Wow, napaka-intense ng laban na yon sa game number 1. At dahil intense yung laban na yon at intense ka din na nanonood, intense din ang ating pamimigay, boom, ng giveaway codes. Giveaway code number 1, this time medyo maikli na lang siya ngayon. Kaya kung ako sa inyo, unahan nyo na yung mga kaibigan nyo, baka maunahan ka pa ng iba. And syempre, meron pa tayong Mythical Raffle Draw Bonus Code 1. Medyo humaba na lang ng onti yan. So, then again, bilisan nyo na. A9SFG 0580. Nakuha mo na, baka may mauna. At ito pa ang pinaka-intense, medyo mas mahaba ng code. So, unahan mo na dyan sa redeem code natin sa MLBB para manalo ka ng mga malulupit na skins at ng mga in-game items na rewards. Woo! Intense yung match 1. I can feel na yung mga casters natin ay napagod agad doon sa game 1. And I can feel na ikaw na nanonood ngayon ay napagod din agad. Sa tingin ko, kailangan mo nang kumuha ng snacks, kumuha ka na ng merienda dahil best of 5 ang laban natin na to. 1-0 momentum para sa Signal Ultra, pero for sure, maraming natutunan ng execration sa laban na yun. Ako po si Manjin Paldas, ang inyong analyst. Balik na natin sa ating mga shoutcasters.
And that was one hell of an analysis, Manjin.
I agree.
Thank you. Wu-Tang arrows.
Yeah, the crossbow of arrows.
The crossbow of arrows.
Well,
The Wu-Tang of arrows.
It makes sense because the crossbow crossbow needs bolts, not arrows. Yeah. But kidding aside, wow, I guess this is gonna be a very exciting and long day because Signal Ultra taking at least one game from Execration, and if they could be able to pull up at least 2 in a row, they might actually make an upset here.
Yes, remember, this is a best of 5. We cannot reiterate it, so we cannot emphasize this more. This is a best of 5. Now, historically, in the MPLPH, ladies and gentlemen, only a handful of teams have played in a best of 5 setup in the MPL. You have Bren Esports, but before that, you scan that code for Signal Ultra, which is they are one of the teams who actually played a lot of the best of 5s.
Yes, because
the former roster, rather. You have Archangel.
Yep.
Then you have Aura. Then you have Onyx, and those are the only 5 teams that have played a best of 5. Because for the other, how do I say this? MPL seasons, the only best of 5 game that we watch, the only best of 5 series that we watch is the Grand Finals.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I guess in terms of organization, Execration wasn't even, they haven't tried the best of 5 at least. And for, Signal
in
Ultra.
The MPL.
On the MPL. Though this Signal Ultra by organization that they've been on the Grand Finals for like season 1 and season I guess we could play season 1 because the team that been taken by Signal Ultra was the DD Pro Gaming. That was the one on the Grand Finals going against Aether Main, which is the Bren Esport right on season 2. But both of these teams definitely in terms of best of 5, like what Butter is saying, is they haven't tried it, at least on the MPL, because that's only going to happen if you're onto the Grand Finals.
Yes, and this is another kind of pressure, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that easy to pull off. Remember, for those 5 games, if we go the distance, then that means you have to draft yourself in a way that you can fit your strategies. And as long as the games are dragging, your strategy gets more, gets more clear to the enemy's eyes. So you really have to bring out something new for those certain matchups that you know that you can win, but as long as you time your strategy or putting your strategy out, as long as you time that perfectly, I think you're going to have an easy time. But if you do it prematurely, that could cost you as well. Because as we all know, there is something called a reverse sweep.
Yes, reverse sweep. It happened.
It happened.
MPL Season 4, if you've been watching the MPL, you know that it happened during the Onyx and versus Sunspark, wherein our PH now is their banner. That's a very reverse pick. And they did being the grand champion during that season. But now, I guess, for Signal Ultra, at least taking one game from Execration, that boost definitely their momentum.
Yes, and speaking of
Or rather
momentum,
morale.
speaking of morale and momentum, let's not dilly-dally anymore. Let's head straight to our draft. Signal Ultra versus Execration, game number 2. A Ling and a Cho. Ban onto the side of Signal Ultra. Barretts.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they're really trying. I mean, probably they don't want to face what they did. I mean, they don't want to taste their own medicine because banning the Ling, and you know that Hate has a lot of heroes, been the Harriet earlier, and been godlike for that specific hero. Still has the Lancelot, but I guess the ban here, that show will gonna be a permaban. They really respect how Benny Cutie using this hero. It's I think it's one of the best show players here on the MPL. Oh man, it was. There's gonna be definitely a different strategy coming from Signal Ultra because earlier they don't have this option to do side lanes, side lane pushes coming from the Ling because he can with a flinch poise. He could just jump around and going from a side lane to side lane and giving Execration a hard time and giving them an option. If they react, they might lose another objective. If it didn't, they will still lose. That's gonna be a turret.
Yeah. One of the things that I think why they banned out the Cho on first pick, because usually you don't go for a first pick Cho.
Yeah.
And what you do is you try to ban out other heroes for the other side, which actually leaves the red side open for a Cho and another offlane. And that's what happened here for the side of Signal Ultra. They were thinking if they were on to the right side or the red side, they could have left that Cho open. They play one main Cho as well. But on this certain setup that you have a lot of first pick potential heroes, then you cannot set up the Cho. You do not give that to the red side.
Yes.
That's the dynamic of the drafting patterns.
Yeah, I guess that I really guess that was a very on point analysis, Butters. And what's on point here is that looks like Execration doesn't want to face what Ben Sanity give them. I mean, we've seen that in the first 5 minutes, Hate doesn't even having a buff on its own, and he cannot be able to go on the top lane, even on the bottom lane. I mean, the reaction coming from Execration during the first game was very, very late because they don't. I mean, Hate is not capable on doing it.
Yeah,
but Esmeralda gonna be the priority pick here for Signal Ultra. Khalid is open. Yuzhong is still open. We're in. That's the first pick of Execration.
And they just showed, Signal Ultra just showed us that the Yuzhong is a non-factor if going up against them. They treated that Yuzhong in a way where it wasn't really that much of a threat. But onto the side of Signal Ultra, I like this first pick because you ban out the Cho and you get the Esmeralda and you really had a lot of things going on for you.
Yes.
But surprisingly,
the
Roger is out.
Roger is out, and something to know, this is not the usual Roger on the mid lane because Harriet was still here as well. So that just indicates that that's going to be a gold lane and jungle might be. So this is going to be a split in the box. So yeah, this might actually work. But I was actually looking or about to ask you earlier before Execration was about to pick these two heroes is will they be getting the Basha?
It could be a possibility, right? Like right now, Signal Ultra can just deny pick that. They can just go for the Basha right now and they can secure a good game for their Esmeralda.
Yes, but if they're gonna be picking up Basha, it's not gonna fit on their lineup because they do have this Natalia, and Natalia works best if its support is like Selena and not having the usual hard tank. This been used consecutively like Bren. They've been doing it. The Natalia and the Selena.
You know what, Rob? If you notice the draft that both teams did here, with even without that third pick onto the side of Execration, that is automatically a very greedy first 2-pick setup.
I
Yeah,
really
the
agree.
first phase is greedy. And they get the Baksha. And even so, they did a very greedy setup.
Because of the Harriet.
Because of the Harriet and the Roger.
Yes.
Those heroes don't go hand in hand. But onto the side of Signal Ultra, it's actually kind of aggressive as well. Not as greedy, because you're not really putting two core heroes, mid lane possible heroes here to the side of Signal Ultra into one umbrella, into one phase. But if you look at it, this is still an Esmeralda, this is still a Natalia, and this is still a Yi Sun-shin. You're giving them a lot of information in terms of where the damage output is gonna come from.
Yes, yes. It's like, yes, you can be able to pick the Roger from that point and get a side laner.
Yeah.
Even the Basha was a good pick on that, the first 2 picks for the side of Execration. But revealing both, you just gave the mid end as well with your gold laner, and the only ones left, it was the tank was there. So
Yeah.
what's just, what's lacking here for Execration is just literally Etomax hero and as well with Sagitt Nu. Or probably they might use like a Basha side lane. I think they were one of the teams who did it. Just placing Basha on the side lane, going against 1v1 for Esmeralda, and might be that Chaknu hero wasn't still available right now.
Well, one Chakno hero was taken out onto the side of for the side of Signal Ultra. They take out that Atlas. Now, onto the side of Execration, they can give that straight to Baksha, to Chakno. But they can actually give it to Sagitt Nu as well. A lot of the teams here onto the side of Signal, onto the side of a lot of the players rather to the side of Execration, they can play a lot of heroes because that's how flexible their setups are. But as you can see, Signal Ultra, they just ban out the Yuzhong. They don't give that much priority into it. But right now, as long as you don't have that certain hero to the side of Execration that can reach Yi Sun-shin head on, because a Yi Sun-shin against a Yuzhong, you don't want that to happen. Because the thing is, Traceless goes on cooldown. It goes off cooldown if you reach a certain amount of hits on the Yi Sun-shin. But that doesn't usually happen when a Yuzhong just gets near you.
Yes, definitely. Now it's like it's almost the same as we've been seeing on the first game, that Execration still going on to tanky heroes. Meanwhile, Signal Ultra on somehow squishy but mobile types of heroes. So this just leaves us that in terms of offensive, is Signal Ultra gonna be winning probably on the early game, but it's gonna somehow neutralize because they do have here the Harriet for Execration, and they don't have here the Hilda who's been poking around for the side of Execration on the first game, but they still have the Natalia to do almost the same thing. Well, squishy probably, but still gonna do the thing with a Vision, but an Angela and a Jawhead. So I guess it's gonna be almost the same what they did. This Imba DJ and Ben Sanity will just poking around the box, and once again you're gonna hate both of these players because for your buff, it's gonna be a hard one to take.
Yeah, and as you can see, there are a lot of ways to eject that. Well, not literally, but to take out that Harith from his Zaman force. Now, this is a good strategy for the side of Execration. I can see the adjustment that they did in terms of just securing that farm for Benny Cutie and Hate here. Respectively, they're the ones who's gonna use that Roger on Benny Cutie and Hate on that Harith. Now, why did they go for Sagitt Nu here on the Thams? Because they know that Thams, as long as Thams can scale in terms of XP, he does not need much of those items.
Yes.
As long as he can get the Cotorant Inferno off, you get a certain amount of, how do you say this, tankiness that will be enough for the damage output that Signal Ultra could do. Now, onto the side of Signal Ultra, they're still aiming to take this to a very late game.
Yes, I totally agree with going into the late game, but somehow scaling wise, I mean early to mid game, I guess Execration has the upper hand. They still have this Selena, been doing really great for Etromax. Harriet, on the other hand, is going to be getting a hard time once again, getting its buff. But there's something to note here. I mean, was aiming that Ima DJ will be the one to use the Natalia, just poking around, but it's going to be Chojin. So meaning to say, it's going to be a core Natalia.
It is going to be a core Natalia, and that is actually in a way noticeable here for the side of Signal Ultra. It was their first 3 picks. Now, if you would look at the things that the Natalia could do, like clearly in terms of just securing the early map control, you cannot do that because they have the Selena on the other side. So having that roaming potential at level 1 is limited already by that certain abyssal traps that could be done by a Selena. Now, what did they do? They just adjusted on the fly and they just put Sujin onto that Natalia. Don't really know if he's that comfortable with it. I've seen him play that once or twice. What's your take on this?
I really like your point on Abyssal Trap because it's gonna spot out. I mean, if the Natalia could be able not to see that there's a trap under the bushes, definitely it's gonna be revealed, and the flank or the gank that's about to do, we're gonna be. I mean, it's not gonna push through. But well, I was even thinking of how gonna be the lanes will be, but I guess the Natalia will be the one to do the mid lane. If the YSS will choose to go on the gold lane, but he has the one with the retribution, so I guess YSS would be going in mid lane. I'm not really sure. I didn't see how it actually went through on the early stages. I just want to see it. But yes, the YSS still gonna be on the mid lane. So they just giving Ima DJ just circling it out on the XP lane, or rather, was that the XP lane on the bottom lane? Yeah.
And they are still
so
gonna
he gets level 4 faster.
I think Chujin is still one of their proficient Natalia players, so they could just give out that offlane Angela. We've seen that time and again, and now it does make sense to put the Esmeralda and the Esmeralda and the Natalia into one lane. Like clearly, right now you don't really have that. You don't really have the lockdown potential from these two, but in terms of damage, as long as Natalia can just go in, they won't really have as much problem as the other guys. But you know what? For the side of Signal Ultra, they're happy with their draft. They really look like they know how to run this, and we've seen them get creative and get crazy with these certain picks that come out from them. For Execration, what do you think is the saving grace for them in game number 2?
I think the Roger must really step up in here. I mean, Hate still gonna have the same fate that he has. Hate with Fate. I don't know if that works, but I mean, he's not be the one to be getting here the buffs, and it's gonna be Chojin just poking around. And what's really gonna be giving Execration a hard time on the early game was that if then Angela was on the XP lane, is gonna go level 4 fast, and the Natalia with the Angela combination will definitely get one turret for Execration. But I guess what Execration needs right now is just to hold it going into the mid game. Their win condition definitely goes on the mid game to late game.
Yeah, and as you can see, there are 2 retributions here onto the side of Execration.
Oh yeah,
there are 2 retributions here. So remember,
see that. Yeah, 2 retribution. They do have one for Benny Cutie and as well with, and that's, well, you could put it in a way that they might have a slight advantage in terms of bigger objective like Lords and Turtle, but a steal, not something we see. I mean, you've been the one to just invading my buff, and they're getting the purple buff for Signal Ultra. Meanwhile, there's one dead. I guess Execration.
Yeah, and it's a death that it's a death that's very, very costly for the side of Signal Ultra. Even though that they want to, take this to super late game, you cannot give Execration the extra gold that they need to get to that power spike that they want. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we do have their event, Trickster's Village event. Get Halloween candies for treasure spin. Each spin will cost 4 Halloween candies, and you can get up to 7 each day. And with 10 spins, Rob, you can get guaranteed that there is a special skin
Wow.
Hammer Giant.
Yes, a very, very good skin here. A special skin, rather. But what's very special is that Hate is really doing well on early game. He's been able to kill the Natalia onto the top lane. Well, now it looks like that Execration is on a better position compared to what they had earlier. It's just this Natalia is not really working for them. Look at that, the Zaman Force, but the ejector for Hate might actually go down.
Oh, that was a heads-up play for Bensanity. Arrow won't connect Etomax here. He's not having fun with this.
Yes, and what's interesting is that Chujin did live on that skirmish, but into the top lane, look at that. The Falling Star Moon will be hitting Benny Cutie. Just going out. So, it looked like this. Signal Ultra been, well, I guess they still can hold it on, but they really need those skills coming from Chujin. I mean, this draft is meant to kill heroes on the early game. If that's what you can, Hades cannot be able to do that. Chujin, it's gonna be taking Hades a hard time scaling because it's gonna lessen his map control. And look at this, Execration just going into their purple
And
buff.
we do have our fight here. Hades here is their target. Heartguard is there. Hades, will he fight? Imba DJ here went out and he wants to deal as much damage as possible. And another invade failing here onto the side of Execration. But Signal Ultra, they want more. Arrow will connect, but it connects to the wrong person. Chujin here will go down. There is a Gitlu trying to go for Rhea. Rhea here, will he get hit with the Abyssal Arrow? No, he won't. Benny Cutie with that secure, but Signal Ultra, they don't care about that. And Rhea here will go down. Bensanity is the next target, and he will go down as well. But the turtle went to the side of Signal Ultra.
Yes, they shouldn't have chased that. I mean, the Wisest and as well with the Angela just went through the trail, and after the kill, probably the first kill or the execute coming from Chujin, they just have to back away.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they did kill someone there, but they totally got wiped out. I mean, there are just 3 members there, and there's a slight miscommunication coming from Signal Ultra.
The nature of the lineup here for the side of Execration, Rob, is, as you can see, you need to get the early objectives just to have a better spike. But then again, for the side of Signal Ultra, what they're doing here is they're not really fighting it as much as possible.
Yeah.
They're not going for the fights. It's all about Execration just forcing them to be taken down.
Yes.
And if you think about it, that is actually a very smart move for Signal Ultra, because you went straight for the turtle. That could have given a lot of advantage for the side of Execration, and while everything was happening, you just went straight for one of their objectives, and you denied it.
Yes, denied, but Rhea will not actually live there. But Hate was actually go. Ejector was still not available for Bensanity. Chaknu been tanking both of the hero, or rather 3. It's actually gonna go down here, Buggers.
And the armor coming from the Heartguard isn't enough. Was it a bit too late? I think
It is.
it was late.
It was. It's a mid. So what's gonna be whose win condition? And well, just to rub it in, it's that Benny Cutie is actually unspoiled, or rather is not being touched for like less than 5 minutes here in the game. And I guess he's been scaling way too much.
Yeah. And speaking of scaling way too much, that is one thing that Chujin cannot do. There's a lot of pressure going onto the side of Chujin, and right now Execration gets that turtle. At least they have an answer. Roger will go down, and there is a lot more emphasis into the getting the objectives for the side of Execration. Why? They have 2 retributions.
Yes, they do have 2 retribution, and Windtalker has been already available for the Roger, and that means he could be able to clear waves, he could be able to deal damage as well, and it's gonna be probably a good snowball for Execration from this point onwards. Now, but Bensanity is still doing great with its ejector. Will they be able to bring down Shackle? They're not gonna be chasing in, and they do know that Hate is just waiting around the bush.
Yeah, that is a great move from Signal Ultra. They did not really force things out, but I speak of the devil.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
They got
someone
impatient.
forced it.
Yes, Shojin got impatient, and I really like how Hate anticipated that one. And now Chaknu just rolling here, getting out, but still gonna live there, ladies and gentlemen. But now Execration, they've been the one to commanding here for the side of Signal Ultra. Will they be able to take this tower? Davenport was down, and yes, oh my god, it's like Execration been fueled off what they did on the first game. It's totally different right now.
It is totally different, but as you can see, Etomax and the others, they're using those brushes to their advantage. They're not really letting Imba DJ and the others control that, and they've been getting a lot of these pickups just going for those death brushes. Now, Bensanity here is the next target by onto the side of Execration, and Execration will take him down. Chujin going 1v1 against the Roger. Well, 1v1 against Benny but Benny can only do so much against a Natalia.
Yes, and the Lycan Pounce will actually save Benny
He actually dodges.
He did, and Chaknu was just right on time to show off the rest of Signal Ultra. Meanwhile, Chujin dying onto the bottom lane. Rhea still not capable to bring down another, but it's still not gonna be enough. Hades will be taken down, and another one. Chaknu. I guess Signal Ultra did one there, but they are losing their bottom lane.
They lost their bottom lane. Angela wasn't there. Bensanity, his unstoppable force, got dodged by Benny
Yes.
That Lycan Pounce was perfectly timed. Didn't hit him. That could have been the damage that they needed. But onto the top lane, at least Hades made things count for his team.
Yes, and the Gillette instant replay here just showing us what just happened. Hashtag save the day. Look at here. I mean, Benny been dodging left and right, but Hades will still be enough to be able to bring him down. Another kill on the top lane, but the difference between that 2 kills is 2 turrets down for the side of Signal Ultra. Now, I'm really concerned on Signal. Ultra on be able to tank, specifically on the late game, because Bensanity is nowhere to do that right now because the
top lane there is a push happening, but doesn't matter as Rhea is forced to go back, and that is Execration marching on with just one mistake. Things are about to go to Execration side.
Yes, that was very costly pickup that they did there. I mean, they could be able to pull it off, but it's just right. Chaknu was just right in time to cut the reinforcement coming from Hades and just leaving Bensanity after the ejector that he did on Benny Cutie. But yeah, that was very costly for them, losing their base turret on the bottom lane.
And as you can see, Angela is just staying onto the side lane because the Heart Guard can be popped anytime and it still would be a 5v5. Chujin, however, getting spotted. I like how aggressive Execration is, even though this is a Natalia. I like the fact that they contest every bush in the game because they know Natalia will come from there.
Yes, and the mid turret here for Execration is really giving Signal Ultra a very, I think they might be on the lower end for the side of the team fight because, I mean, Execration still has their own mid turret while the Lord is still up. So besides that, they do have here 2 Retribution to somehow give them a higher chance to be able to last hit the Lord, but a team fight might actually happen here.
Hades almost getting hit, and Chujin here almost always spotted out by the side of Execration. Can he get out? Can he get out? Yes, he will. No, he won't. He gets tagged by that Synchro Fission, and he goes down.
He really did go down. I was looking at Hate that one. He actually thought he has the Cyclone Eye, and that's the reason why he actually used the Synchro Fission. But regardless, the Lord will be taken here down by Execration. Arrow will connect Bensanity here, ladies and gentlemen. And now, Execration, a very commanding lead here going into the late game.
And this is how you do it. Execration they are gonna take this 1-1 if the pressure doesn't stop onto their side. Lord is gonna go down to bot. That is a good path for them in terms of just meeting the Lord in that certain area, because if it goes to mid, that means it takes a shorter time for the Lord to get there. But onto the bottom lane, they can plan it a bit. They can just contemplate if they are gonna go bot, mid, or top.
Yes, bot, mid, and top, but here the Revitalize will just save Shaq too. That Silent is already been down, going in. Zaman, of course, is still dealing a lot of damage. Shoji is going down as well, but Benny Cutie will be the casualty for Execration, but still the Lord is still up. Here, Butter, Sinis who's winning. Looks like Execration been taking tower after tower here for a Signal Ultra.
And Hades here going straight for that siege minion, and right now, the Lord is gonna go down. Execration here, happy with what they've achieved there. They take down the mid lane turret, and right now they want more onto the top lane.
Yes, well, this is a very undisciplined Execration. They don't want to take too much of what they had. They are on the lead and they don't want to lose it. But that ejector, it started it all. I mean, Chaknu was the only ones available since basically he's on the front line. But he is not someone you wouldn't want inside your base, because regardless what happened, he's this Revitalize, he has this ultimate, and everything is just goes nuts for the side of Signal Ultra, and they don't have the burst damage that they need to bring down the Basha.
Immortality is onto the side of Bensanity. It rhymes.
It
actually.
really rhymes.
Well, actually rhymes as well.
I like how you did it.
You know what? Execration, they're really looking good right now. Endless Battle, Queen's Wings, and a Molten Core or Molten Heart onto the side here on Sagitnu. I like how they are actually getting those casual stuff, but it's probably gonna go for that cursed element. Benny Cutie, the Natalia pick, it doesn't really work for Execration.
Yes.
The amount of time that Natalia has been seen into the map, you really have to give that a lot of credit on the side of Execration, because some of the teams really are afraid when the Natalia they don't see the Natalia on the map. But Execration, they can almost pinpoint every single time where the Natalia is at certain points of the game. Hades here is not gonna go down, but that doesn't matter as we head on to game number 3. It's going to be a 1-1 for the side of Execration, and man oh man, we expected this already.
Yes, we did expect this, that this gonna go down the wire. Both of these teams, man, I mean, one time that Signal Ultra on the upper hand and Execration is handing it over, and now both of these teams been fueled up, and I guess we'll be seeing a lot more going into the third game. But I guess this game, on the second game, this is the Execration that we've been seeing on the regular season. This is how aggressive they are. I mean, seeing Hate been doing very well on the early game, I guess they're back on form.
They're back on form, and I like how aggressive or greedy Execration was, and that at those certain points of the fight, if you think about it, in terms of drafting, they were very greedy as well. They went straight for a first pick Harriet. Well, not really a first pick, but it's more on the first 2 picks, Harriet and Roger. In that certain area, in that certain game, it's like you're giving out a lot of your identity by the time we head to game draft or pick number 3 onto their side. And it was like, okay, we don't really care. Those are our best heroes. If you give that to us, we're gonna head into a game for game number 3 with a 1-1, and that's what happened. But I think let's analyze this a bit later, because right now we have to throw it back to Manjin. Manjin, the floor is yours.
Nasindak ang Team Signal Ultra sa dalawang mabigat na opening ng Team Execration, ang Roger at ang Harriet, to the point na napilitan na silang gumawa ng medyo unorthodox na lineup. But again, pre-practice nila to. Let's look into the items right away. Guys, kung mapapansin nyo sa side ng Signal Ultra, instant heptasis. Kasi kitang-kita dito na sa Signal Ultra, sa lineup nila, gustong-gusto nilang gumawa dito ng mga pick of plays. Ang taas ng kanilang global presence because of the Angela. Meron pa silang Mountain Shocker, meron silang Jawhead na nag-roam around, meron silang Natalia, pero sa Execration, meron silang Traps, and meron silang gumugulong na Baksha. So, kitang-kita pa lang sa first item dito ni Chujin na Etasis. Game agad, ambush ka agad. Pero ang problema, hindi kayo agad makakapatay. Even though they have the triple mass setup na in-emphasize ng ating mga shoutcasters, napakayaman sana ni Hades dito. But looking at Execration, they just played it simply. Simplicity is beauty para dito sa side ng Execration. Even though tumatagilid, medyo na-delay mga items dito ni Benny Cutie. I think nakuha niya dito yung endless battle ng around 9 minutes. Pero syempre, with the spam mechanic ng Windtalker, okay lang, makakapag-farm pa rin ako. Ang taas ng win condition na sanang kailangan ma-check ng Signal Ultra dito, pero hindi sila pinagbigyan ng Execration. Now, moving on to our stats. Guys, oops, ayan na nga. Okay, kung makikita ninyo, lahat ay napunta kay Hades. Everything. But meanwhile, look at the stats right now for Execration. Halos magkakapantay yung huling tatlo na nasa baba. Chakno, Etomax, and Sagitno. And again, the carries, the first two picks, Benny Cutie and Harit. Really pulling off good plays, good damage output, and tower damages. Nahirapan actually dito ang Signal Ultra kumuha ng mga purple buffs. Bakit? Kasi gusto sana nila na sila ang mag-i-invade. Gusto sana nila na sila ang manggugulo. But then again, Execration, isa sila sa mga teams na ang taas ng pagiging wais sa game. Street smarts ang pwede nating gawing characteristics ng Execration pagdating sa game. Even though invisible si Chujin, kitang-kita pa rin yan ni na Etomax, kitang-kita pa rin yan ni na Chakno. Wala silang pakialam kahit inbi ka. Talagang all-out team fight ang laban sa Execration. And mukhang totoo nga na baka double core setup na ang new trend para sa MPL. Meanwhile, let's look at the smart highlights of the game. As you can see, main target sana talaga ng Execration ng Signal Ultra dito is the top lane. They want to shut down Benny Cutie. They know that they can handle the Harit as soon as possible. Ayan kasi Mountain Shocker, again, ulitin ko, may heart card ka, but the sustain from Sagitno and Chakno, easy counter para sa Esmeralda. Nalulugi ang Signal Ultra dito sa mga forced fights to the point na hinahabol sila ng Execration up until the tower. Chujin dito, hindi na naging successful ang kanyang Natalia plays. Even though, yes, masakit si Hades, pero napakahirap talaga para sa isang Yishun Shin ang umabante, especially against Chakno, the Baksha, and the Tams. Ang pwede niya lang mahuli dyan is yung Roger, lalo na kapag medyo nauna na yung Roger sa skills, yung Harit hindi niya rin kagad makukuha. So, single targets para dito sa side ng Team Execration, no? Ng Team Signal Ultra na hindi pinapayagan ng Execration. Gusto ko lang makita yung emphasis dito sa tower in the mid lane. Kung makikita nyo, around 9 minutes, kung ang lineup ninyo, kung ikaw ang Signal Ultra at ang lineup ninyo ay gusto sanang mag-invade at kumuha ng mga kills. Hindi lang necessary invade talaga ng jungles. Kumuha ng mga kills, ng solo kills. Napakahirap siyang gawin as long as ito lang yung entry points ninyo. Kasi mawawalan kayo ng dagdag entry points doon sa bandang gitna. So Execration doing a great job on protecting that tower in the mid. And with that, ito na yung final clash na I think nag-seal ng deal para dito sa game natin. Our smart MVP of the game ay walang iba kundi teka lang, gayahin natin siya. Si Hate. Unleash the hate para sa side ng Execration on the Harit. And kitang-kita nyo naman na nahirapan ang Signal Ultra na mapatumba siya because of the single target damage na meron ang Yishun Shin. The plan sana for Signal is to just give Hades the time of his life, pero mukhang napunta pa kay Hate yung malupit na oras na nabigay ni na Etomax at ni Chakno at nabigyan siya ng space para makuha lahat ng stats na to. Grabe. Smart MVP of the game. Ulitin ko lang. Hate. Congratulations. And with that, marireset ng execration itong game na to. Kailangan pa ng dalawang teams na tong manalo ng 2 beses para makakuha sila ng next round slot. At matanggal na. Tuluyan ng mapatumba yung kalaban. Execrations, QR code. Scan nyo na yan para suportahan ang Team Execration. Like nyo yung page nila. Siyempre, nandyan na din ang mga supporters natin from Signal Ultra. Yan, scan nyo yan dyan sa baba. Yun. Yan. Siyempre, ladies and gentlemen, Signal Ultra, scan nyo yung code na yan para makuha nyo. And siyempre, kung gusto nyong supportahan ang MPL, kailangan nyo lang gawin ay pumunta dito sa Facebook page, mplph.official. There you go. Ayan. So, supportahan nyo lang sila. Mamaya babalik natin. Babalik natin yan, no? Practice lang yan, eh. Kasi magdodrawing tayo dyan mamaya. Speaking of filling up, fill up nyo na yung survey to win rewards. Ako na nagsabi sa inyo, scan nyo na. Baka manalo pa kayo ng mga skins at ng mga kung ano-ano pa. Fill up the survey na. Speaking of rewards, lalabas ang ating giveaway code 29HTWN58T. Yan ang ating mga giveaway codes na binibigay natin kada after game. Kaya kung ako sa inyo, ready nyo na ang inyong mga sarili. MRD code natin ay nandyan din. Yan yung pangalawa. Pasans, mga kaibigan natin, Pasans. Bilisan nyo na, i-redeem nyo na yung code na yan dahil meron pa tayong isa pa. Napakabilis lang. Kung ako sa inyo, screenshot nyo kagad kasi hindi nyo alam kung kailan yan mawawala at kailan yan babalik. There you go. C6P3Z. Hindi ko na nabasa. O, diba? Nawala na nga para sa inyong lahat. So, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2, Execration tying it to 1-1. We're now having a best of 3. Sino kaya ang mananalo sa game number 3 na to? Pilitin pa rin kaya ng dalawang teams ang 2-core setup? Tanungin natin sa ating dalawang shoutcasters.
I was actually thrown off by that, but ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be your 2 shoutcasters, as Manjin said. And that is the first time that the MPL logo went out of the screen.
Yeah.
And as expected, you know who the
culprit.
the suspect or the culprit is.
But down to wire, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the best of 3 because it's a 1-1, and we might actually see it's gonna be going toe-to-toe like a game, 5 games, and we might actually expect it. Well, oh wow.
I wanna put it in a new viewpoint.
All right, what is it? What is it? What view?
It became a 1-1 without a 1-1.
Oh, well, that's a premonition. I mean, a 1-1 without, a 1-1 without a 1-1. Yes, but something to see here is that this is the one is giving them the boost that they need. Billy was here. I mean, we rarely see it. Zapnu on the screen right now. But I mean, we've been talking earlier that how beneficial coach is for the Execration, and we've actually been seeing it during the second game.
At least right now, they are getting a bit of a, a back and forth. Because usually when you see Execration lose, they really have a hard time getting back. And that was seamless coming up from them in game number 2. And as you see, that certain dog is actually Zapnu's dog.
Yes.
And his name is Osnoob.
Osnoob.
If you say Osnoob, you just say it backwards. It means bunso, which actually translates into the youngest son.
Yes, youngest son, and probably the youngest member of Execration. It may be.
Who knows? Maybe he is the
lucky charm.
The lucky charm, or he's the reason why Execration plays a good Roger.
Oh wow. That was nice. Though Roger is a wolf, but it's still the same.
It's probably a near cousin.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, they still do have fangs, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, Benny Goodies, Roger was outstanding during that match. But what I really like for Execration during that time is Hate has been commanding it on the early game. And there's a lot of times he's been using Cinco Friction just blindingly. I mean, the way he anticipate where Chujin is very I think it's very commendable.
They have a lot of ways to do that, though. Yeah, I mean
Yeah, the trap one as
the
well. You
abyssal
said
trap.
earlier.
So that means if you don't see an abyssal trap on that lane, what you can do is just throw out the synchro fission, and it will really just put put the guys into put the guys in alert.
Yes.
For that certain setup. Now, why did that happen in the first place? It was because of the
It said it just placed where is gonna be the nearest bush that you could place your Synchro Friction, and he's been doing it countless of times, like more than like 3-4 times during the match. One thing I saw him do is during on the mid lane, he just simply cast it blindly. But now we're going into the game 3. It's been even it out by Execration. Still, they are the one being favored in this match, but Signal Ultra, they're back onto the 2 picks, and they will definitely not gonna ban a Ling here.
They will not. Shoutouts to our Indonesian caster brethren from MPL ID. I've seen you guys dance your way. Probably will do that sometime.
Yes.
As well, and
If
a
you're-
lot. Yeah. If you want us to take the challenge, then let's take the challenge. But we're not gonna do it now.
We're not gonna do it now, but you
yeah.
do have here what we can say. What do you want to say? Something. It's not gonna be a competition.
It's not gonna be a competition.
But definitely you have to watch out how
Yeah.
we dance, because we are good dancers. We do TikTok here.
We do TikTok here. But ladies and gentlemen, kidding aside, much love for our
Yes.
MPL ID
Of course.
caster brethren there and sisters as well. You guys did an amazing job, and if you're watching right now, could you please just pass on to everyone who did the broadcast for MPL ID. But right now, let's head back into the game. We
Yeah.
just showed our love for our
Yes, and we
MPL
hope to
IDs.
meet them someday.
We hope to meet you someday. We really do hope that we meet you guys someday.
Yeah.
Personally. Now, for Execration on the side of Signal Ultra, Hilda, Barretts, and Valier on those bans on the side of Execration really just forces Signal Ultra to play another playstyle. Now, for the side of Signal Ultra, they just ban out those heroes that are gonna give them a hard time. Uranus getting unleashed.
Yes, it's been opened. I guess they might try the same tactic that they had, or rather strategy for Signal Ultra. They could pick the Ling, which really did great for them. But what is still open? Will they be getting an Imba DJ hero like a Selena? I mean, definitely if they're gonna, if they're not gonna be getting the Selena here, that's gonna be another Etsumax hero. So what it's gonna be for Signal Ultra, or they would like to secure their side lane. There's a lot of open here for their side. They do have the Khalid, but if they want the Yuzhong, or the Damus just been shown. And that's gonna be a Ling, definitely. So we've been seeing that if it's Signal Ultra not on the blue side, they're just gonna ban it out. They don't want to go against that kind of strategy. And now having the Ling here for Hades once again, this just shows at how. But you've said earlier, Butters, that on a 5-game series, is that you've shown you have to hold on to your strategies, and still the strategy for Signal Ultra did work on game number 1, and they just can do it once again up until it's gonna somehow if Execration get figured how they could be able to go against it.
Yeah, this isn't your traditional sport where game number 1 happens on a different day than game number 2.
Yes.
And as you get the ball rolling onto your side, that is going to be very important on the side of Execration. Now, this is what we've seen from Execration. They've been doing this ever since the regular season. That they always sometimes go to that realm where they get two marksmen going onto their side. Now, why is 1-1 one of those picks that can really just thrive in this certain situation? 1-1 can go for the duel. 1-1 can stun people at one end of the other. You don't really see that coming out from a lot of the marksmen. I think the only marksman that could do that as well is the Yi Sun-shin, especially with a hoverboard on his side. But for 1-1, he can get away, especially with the crossbow of Tang. You can expect 1-1 to just thrive in those kinds of situations. As long as you get enough stacks for the weaknesses on the enemy, you can use the crossbow of Tang.
Yes. There might be a few heroes here that he could be able to pull it off. I mean, probably the Tamus. But what's lacking here now, I guess, for Execration is that they don't have a minion wave clear. Well, Roger can be, since this is going to be a mid lane hero. So does both is gonna be their side lane. So what's been lacking here for Execration is that they don't have their support yet, and probably a tank for their side. Probably Kufra is still open for Chaknu once again, and is Signal Ultra willing to give Chaknu that hero? But I'm seeing here Signal Ultra's very strong start. I mean, into the drafting. They're definitely gonna get the first blood here once again. And yeah, they ban the Kufra. They don't want to mess it with Chaknu.
Yeah, giving it to Chaknu, the capability of this guy to make great plays as early as minute 1. It's just innately inside this guy. I'm seeing a bit of a flash of you know what, the season 1 haze that we've seen. Like, he would make a lot of plays.
Yeah.
In the early game, and that's what I'm seeing from Chaknu right now. But you know what? I like the Pharsa pick here onto the side of Signal Ultra. It's more likely to be a denied creation. Because if you think about it, if you make enough space for 1-1 to just go for the 1v1s and isolate people, that's when you would have major problems.
Yeah.
On a farmed 1-1.
I guess what. Yeah, I come to think about it. I mean, what's this might be going for the 1-2-2 that's been what it's called here on the Philippines, but
Chaknu will be using the Jawhead. So, Etomax Hero, are we gonna be seeing a Loyi here, or rather a Kagura? For, I guess, Selena might actually work here. They're gonna be a very single target specific hero. So, I guess they want to pick like an AoE here for Etomax as support.
Pero ngayon po, hindi kami nagtabot sa mga nagawa namin. Nagsisikapan namin.
Khalid is still open.
Yeah, nobody's picking Khalid.
Yeah, that's a surprise. Well, Khalid actually outshines the Uranus.
I mean, Signal can just go for it. Like clearly,
or they do have here another pocket side lane hero. Back pocket strategy. Are they? They've already been holding their hands. They know what they're gonna be. Yes, that's gonna be a side lane Claude, and I really somehow liked it. This is they usually do support, rather average emblem here, sport emblem, but I want to see it have the what we'll see, like we've mentioned MPL Indonesia, it's the RRQ, their champion Shin is the one using this kind of hero, and he's using High and Dry.
Yes.
And are we gonna be seeing it for Chujin? Who knows?
Clearly, these guys, they're just showing us what they're capable of.
Yes.
And this is what I love about the playoffs. No holds barred, everything goes out. This is single eliminations, ladies and gentlemen. There is no room for you to hide strats here. One fatal mistake could just take you out of the tournament, and this is what it's all about. MPLPH Season 6, the playoffs. This is only day number 1, and we already had our 30-minute game. Now, looking at both sides here, who will get the upper hand in terms of late game? That's gonna be the question, as both teams, they did secure the heroes that could scale on late game, but somehow on the side of execution, they do have here just 2 marksmen, but at the draft, it may be it's still gonna be the average. That's the first thing that I did look on the Claude. So basically, that's gonna be on side lane. So I just want to point out on that Claude is that the average Claude really needs to scale on damage. I mean, having Demon Hunter Sword first item will not gonna do enough. But what's what is beneficial for that kind of emblem is that it's gonna be spammable. You want to make it fast in terms of rotation. What do you think about this?
I think in a way, Demon Hunter Sword is one of the items that they really still have to go for. Like there are a lot of tank heroes onto the side here, for the side of execution. Now, why do you go for that? It's more on the idea that you really just want to put it in a way where he's not forced to fight into the early game. The moment you let the Claude fight into the early game and you need the Claude to fight in the early game, that only means one thing. You're losing already.
Yes, you're losing. I mean, it's like your Claude is your insurance going into the late game.
And if you see a Claude defending and just waiting, just doing the waiting game against another team, that only means you're losing. But Claude is just in his own engagement in the Blazing Duet, then that means the other way around. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things that you really want to see here for the side of Signal Ultra to Alive. I think for the side of execution, it's much more easier. The laning phase, the laning capability for the side of Roger and 1-1, it's actually much easier to pull off. Now for Claude, why was Claude strong at some points of the tournament in terms of just getting picked? It was more on the idea that he had access to the jungle. Now, if you're a lane,
minsan meron kami narinig na parang dumadaing. Nahihirapan ako, parang umiyaw ka. Isang araw lang nakita namin, meron ng bakas.
Putang ina!
Bakit?
Nabura ko!
Hindi kasi may umakyat pa siya sa ulo ng ganyan, tapos nawala, naputol na. Ang nagdada ako, bakit? Sa tagal ng panahon, bakit hindi naman siya napupura?
And you have the Claude.
But the Farsa is making it a little bit different. And who knows? I mean, Kagura is slow as well in terms of scaling and damage. He actually needs to level 4 at least together Chaknos saw him. So for execution, spinning condition probably still gonna hold up until they get to level 4. But for the side of Signal Ultra, they could be able to pull off something just even before hitting, or even our so-called laning phase we're in. Now, I want to see how Signal Ultra bounce back. I mean, from the loss of game
I mean,
to game
yeah,
two.
it's a one and one, and whoever gets this game free, they will have the they will have momentum on their side. Yes, and whoever loses this certain game will always have it in the back of their minds that one more loss, one a game could mean the tournament life ending at that point in time.
Yes, I do agree with you. I mean, everyone's getting this game is just one step or one game closer to be able to go into round number 2. And again, guys, if you're just tuned in, Sagitno just did die there as a Uranus in its heart, and Shakno here just trying to poke down the purple buff here for the lane, just to try to get or to burn down time for the lane. Will he be able to do it? Will he be using Cyclone Eye and try to check it? But that's gonna be risky. No, just watch it out.
Yeah, you know what they did there at that point? They hugged that buff. They hugged the buff. Like as a team, they hugged it out. They stuck together. And what happened there was no opening for tackling. They could have gone for it, but they could have went for the.
But there was, let's say, what, a 33.33% chance of getting the right target at that point for the ejector, and that's a chance you're not willing to take.
Yes, I really like you pointed that out. That's a very keen observed advance that he did it. I mean, yeah, getting crumpled into two of them with the purple buff and the 2 members from rather Signal Ultra, just securing it, and just Shakno just looking at that the purple buff has been taken, but now. Still, we're just waiting. What did actually happen?
That was a very costly takedown onto the top lane. Like Uranus uncharacteristically just went down.
Yes.
And it's not about the player. It's about the certain nature of the player that you don't really bully out a Uranus that easily. Because Uranus at early levels, yes, you're gonna have a hard time. But as long as you still take on the creeps, that could really be you forcefully in telling people that I want to get level 4 when the time I get level 4 it comes, that's fine. That's what we want. But against a Tams has been easily one of the best dual heroes onto the side lanes. You have Khalid, you have Yuzhong, and you have Tams. In terms of dueling, they're one of those guys are the best.
Yes.
So you pick your fights when you're in the side lane. Not all fights are winnable, and there's a reason why there's a certain pool of heroes that you want to go for when you are gonna go side lane. Just because it's the advantage that you can get by picking these heroes is that they're strong laners, and when you duel them, then the other team has a hard time.
Yes.
Now, looking at that, Rob Luna, what do you think should Sagitno do here? Because that really gave a huge advantage for Rhea.
I was still thinking if Rhea did have an execute right there, because that's the only thing. Because, I mean, dying as a Uranus against a Thanos, yes, into the laning phase, if you are a Uranus user, you don't have your ulti yet, of course, Thanos will definitely outshine you since you are not tanky enough. You have this avarice, yes, but if the Thanos did have an execute, and that's gonna be a different set of scenario, because just constantly spamming the molten sites and just getting the passive out of it is really strong. You're not as strong as level 4 is a must for the Uranus, but this is what's gonna be a hard time for Uranus if the Thanos here just stay on this lane. He will not be capable of doing what he has to do, like cutting the minion waves, or rather the other Uranus user just going inside the base of their opponents and trying to cut 2 minion waves, either top as well with mid. But yeah, I guess given that kill, Signal Ultra may actually had an upper hand here, for at least for the
But,
early game.
You know what? I'd say it's too early to say.
It is. Well, again, it's really too early to say.
I mean, we could put out a lot of these theories
Of course.
outside the window. We can throw everything outside the window.
Yeah.
And let's just say that Tams will get a deadly blade, then
Yeah.
Tams will just have a upper hand. Then, when it doesn't happen, what happens next? We can just keep on throwing this all around. But remember, sometimes mechanical skill actually takes play in terms of these kinds of scenarios. Now, for the side of Execration, I'm actually seeing that 1-1 and that Roger in a very loud way. It's not a big spot. You can pull it off. But the thing is, if the Roger doesn't really go well, then that means your 1-1 is gonna be the main target for the side of Signal Ultra.
Yes, and that's gonna be the winning condition right now. It's just to hold it off, or I mean, for the Roger, it's just he has to farm it. I mean, Execration doesn't need to be very aggressive here, specifically on the early game, because they can't not be able to do it.
Oh wow!
But Shujin here might Shackle very. What? Look at that! He's
Oh,
actually went
very
front.
cutie! Wow!
That was, I mean, BMI did save his life at some time, but it's been level 4 for Chujin.
That was in paper gonna save his life, but ladies and gentlemen, that placement of that stun, Benny Cutie, masterful display on playing that 1-1. He
Yeah.
put that in an area where Claude will get forced in an area where it's closed, it's narrow, and he's isolated.
Yes, isolated, and I really like how Chakno did went through the Claude is forced him to do a BMI back to where his monkey is, but now it's looked like Signal Ultra is actually not holding on. I mean, like what you've said, if this Chojin, I mean, it's just been defending and not really using its utilizing its
Oh, Benny.
He's might
Oh,
actually get a revenge kill here.
They returned the favor.
They did.
If 1-1 trapped them, then Parza is gonna trap the 1-1 as well. And when that is happening, Rob, mind you, a turtle has been slain on the side of Execration.
Yeah, so I guess Execration is still happy that yes, 1-1 did die, but their other core is still alive. And so does that Hades is dying on for the Kagura. Not something you see every day, Butters. I mean, how hard it is for you to be able to kill a Ling with just your umbrella.
I do agree. How often do you see a Kagura taking down a Ling?
Yes, and now somehow Etomax did win against Hades here. Now, what's going so well here, I guess, for Signal Ultra is that Rhea still having a good farm, and now he's actually returning the favor as well for Etomax.
And Hades here will go down in the process as well, and he will go down at the hands of the Roger. 1-1 joining the fight as well. He does have the corrosion sight. Look at this. Kate will try to fight this head on. Benny Cutie onto the bottom lane. He has free reign over that. And Sujin dying twice already.
He actually don't need to go into Benny Cutie here. I mean, Benny Cutie doesn't really care about the Basha there. She's a half HP. And now, I guess they're just giving punch after one another. But here comes the Gillette instant replay hashtag save the day. Look at here. Etomax getting picked up. What actually saved here Ben Sanity is actually pop up the Revitalize and been tanking it off. Even Hate's damage wasn't enough to clear off the Basha. But look at here. Rhea might actually die, but still too tanky and not enough damage for the crossbow tank of Benny Cutie. Now, I guess it's still even out. Both towers on the bottom lane were down, and it's gonna be the turtle, another one. I guess the first turtle was taken by Execration, if I'm not mistaken.
One thing that I want to talk about here, Rob, I want to know your insights here. Chujin and Benny Cutie battled it out onto the bottom lane. Benny Cutie won that with the weakness finder and everything else. So do you think that Signal Ultra is put in a bad spot already just because of that certain duel that they had? I mean, 1-1 is one of those heroes that really have good duel capability.
Yes, yes. I think Execration did one their side of the game. I mean, he is actually untouched right now. I mean, look at that. Even the one who's doing great on the top lane, Sam was still having a hard time going against the 1-1, but Diplomax will actually be on the wrong side of the map. But look at it. Benny Cutie is just bullying Rhea here, which is doing really great on the top lane. And now, Sagit Nu is just doing what he has to do, which is cutting the lane, and Chujin cannot be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, and the thing is, Rob, why can a 1-1 bully out a Thams? It's all because of the corrosion side.
Corrosion side, yes.
If ever, ladies and gentlemen, that Rhea wants to force a fight against a 1-1, look at this. There is actually a stun that's gonna happen here. And look at all the damage that Ben QT is dealing. Rhea here is the next target. He's gonna use the Broadbow of Tank. Can he get another kill here? No, he doesn't. Benny QT going in! He still wants Ben Sanity, and look at this, Benny QT still wants to fight. This isn't really the matchup that you want to take, but Benny QT is still alive, and he gets hit by that wheel.
The only thing that I knew that the reason why he actually did it is that probably his crossbow attack is about to go off, because you're not going to 3 heroes. I mean, yes, you might actually get, or probably he's just buying time for Hate.
Yeah, and Hate here, he got what he wanted. He got the second turret onto the top lane. Execration, they are having a good time dealing with the players here for the side of Signal Ultra. This Claude lane combination isn't really working well on the side of Signal Ultra.
Yes, it's not working. So does their strategy they did on game number 1, the side lane Hades. Here is not what we've been seeing. Max going down for Hades. This might be the comeback potential coming from Signal Ultra. They're not finished. They're eyeing here for Sagit Nu and might want to push the middle lane.
They, okay, for the side of Signal Ultra, they are letting the Claude breathe, and that's a good thing. Now, Rob, looking at Execration here, they're really doing a great job. He's not really getting a lot of those kills, but he is given space to farm as well. And now looking at it, I am liking the draft here of Execration in terms of getting the power spike, because as we all know, Benny QT has been the king of the bottom lane as much as possible here. But Chujin getting chased down by Sagitnu. Sagitnu doesn't have the execute to back that up. He does have the purify, but Sagitnu doesn't really care. He's just gonna go back into the lane. He has enough mana regeneration to back up that lane staying capability, lane staying prowess that Uranus has. Look at that enchanted talisman. That's all he needs.
Yes, that just to sustain its mana, can be able to pull up even with its HP. Even DJ might actually eject here, but there's gonna be a Fury fight.
Rhea is the next target. There is a feathered airstrike, ladies and gentlemen. Roger going in. Tap will be taken out. Ben Sanity here is the next target. Jawhead backshot. That was actually the backshot going down. Jawhead is actually on the other side.
Yes. Did you see how nimble Hades is? He actually knew that they're not going to be winning that team fight. He just went through the mid lane and tried to cut the minion waves. And I guess that was a very intelligent move. But what's really dragging Signal Ultra right now is the Claude itself. I mean, he is incapable of holding its own lane. Anyone from the side of Execration could go toe-to-toe with the Claude right now. Yes, you do have here the Demon Sword, you already have the Golden Staff, but I guess it's still not going to be enough for the tanky heroes of Execration.
Yeah, and look at this. Chujin, they're chasing down Sagitnu, and they see that Lord take. Roger is there near the area. Hades going in! He steals the Lord, returning the favor from earlier game number 1. Hate on the other side. He gets clawed.
He gets clawed? No, not really, but they didn't take Hades.
I mean, he gets clawed in terms of claw, but that wasn't really the perfect thing to say because there's a Claude on the other side as well. So
yeah, that was the light.
He gets scratched.
He gets scratched. Yes, and he actually fall down right from there. But I guess he would take it any day because they did take the Lord, and that was, well, I guess Execration still have the lead here regardless the Lord was stolen. But what the thing here for Signal Ultra is did buy more time for the Claw to be able to go online, because right now
Look at this.
it's not dealing any much.
They actually isolate Benecutie here,
They
but
did.
Bensanity, this isn't really the right time. This isn't really the right target to go 1v1 with.
Yes, and you can see how fast Execration just melted through that Lord level 1, and still we're back into square one. And I like what Hades was doing. He actually stole the purple buff there for an Execration side.
And right now for the side of Signal Ultra, they know that they're not out of the woods just yet. They're clearly just getting back from this blunder that they went through earlier. Sagitnu here is still the target, but look at that regeneration. Bensanity here will go down. There is the Revitalize, but that won't be enough as his damage output is just way too much onto the side of Execration. But look at Signal Ultra here. When everything was happening, Hades goes to the bottom lane.
Yes, they went through the bottom lane just to try to force a reaction for Execration. But what did actually happen there is that they didn't get the Cyclone Eye. That's the reason why Sagitt was alive. That was already a 5-man gank for the Uranus, and the only thing that saved him was the Cyclone Eye. And anyone from there was actually 2 heroes on the bushes right there could be able to take it before they actually go to Sagitnu, and they didn't, and that's what saved them.
I actually think that regardless, Sagitnu could have been taken down.
Yeah.
Just because of the brute force breastplate. If they cannot,
too tanky.
if he cannot be put in the farthest place as much as possible, that's going to be a that's going to be a huge problem for them. But that's going to be a double kill onto that jungle. Onto the side of Signal Ultra, Rhea still once more. Sagitnu, look at this. He's hugging out Imba DJ and the others. They're just waiting for that certain minion wave to come up top, and they are just pushing their luck here. They're taking down all the turrets that they can get. And look at this, Hades will use the Tempest of Blades to get out safely, but Tate has something in mind. He goes straight for that takedown. He takes down that Tabs. One less person to the side of Signal Ultra. Mid lane is creeping up as well. Will they take down that middle turret too? I don't think so.
Yes, I don't think so too, but now Signal Ultra is actually paying off, opening this Uranus. We've seen Sagitnu just standing into like 4 members of Signal Ultra inside their base, and they cannot be able to do anything about it. Yes, I think Imba DJ did have a necklace right now, but their damage is not enough. Look at Shujin, just tickling, or rather giving just an itch for this Uranus, and that this damage was close to nothing at this point.
Yeah, Execration, they're just playing with whatever the hell there is, resource there is onto the map right now. Wind of Nature is on that 1-1. That is a requirement right now, because you know what? You can still get hit by the Blazing Duet.
Yes, Blazing Duet. Right now, what are the only heroes that the Blazing Duet Chujin has to be able to kill probably is Etomax or even Benecutie. But aside from that, I mean, 3 heroes from Execration is very tank. Even Heat to be able to withstand the damage coming from Chujin, and that was Hades.
Oh my goodness, Chaknu! Chaknu, you madman. They don't have a retribution here. Etomax and Benecutie, they are the targets. And look at this! The knock-up is there! Chujin here goes down to the turret, and Chaknu gets that kill.
Oh my god. But it looks like Imba DJ is still alive and managed to get a kill. Benecutie and as well with Etomax. But Chaknu,
they're not letting Imba DJ go back to base. They're not letting Imba DJ go back to base. They just want to end this at this point. Chaknu is just stalling time. He doesn't go down. Look at this, Imba DJ! Oh! Play after play! Imba DJ, the only one who could have defended, couldn't go home!
That was amazing! That eject just shaved that. I mean, Chaknu living it up, just barely the shield coming from the ejector. Just one hit away. It's, if Imba DJ just have one more skill, he'll be able to kill that Jawhead. But yeah, like what you've said, he's just buying time. They don't want Imba DJ to go home and defend.
Execration. Execration at match point, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
If they win the next game, they stop the tournament life of Signal Ultra and they advance to the semi-finals.
Yes, semi-finals. Match point. Oh my god, this is it. This is it. I mean, we've been anticipating this one, Butters, and I really like how Signal Ultra been doing lately for the past 3 games, but they have to make it all onto the next game. They have to force a game number 5.
They have to force a game number 5. Who knows? We might have it. We might not have it.
Yes.
But the thing is, Signal Ultra, they should just look in a way where they could get this very simple drafts going on for them, because that was one complicated draft that they tried to pull off on game number 3. But let's throw it to Manjin and let's see what he says.
Actually, na parehas ang plano dito ng dalawang teams, pero nagkagulo-gulo, nagkaiba-iba sa emblems, sa battle spells, at sa items na i-check natin ngayon para sa ating post-match analysis. Tignan natin dito ang item builds. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Kung titignan nyo si Benny Cutie, early corrosion sight para sa kanya. This is clearly total lane dominance para sa side ng Execration. Nakakuha nga si Rhea dito, sige, ng first blood, ng kill against the Uranus. But in the end, if you're gonna look at the items right now, mas maraming options ng magiging defensive heroes ang side ng Execration, to the point na hindi na umabot na nagkaroon ng mga items ang Signal Ultra to add more damage. Looking at Chaknung's item ngayon, napakaagang Athena Shield na nakuha niya dyan. And meron pa siyang Queen's Wings para mabuhay dito. And of course, with the Uranus, isang enchanted talisman lang at bumuo ka na ng mga defensive items. Sobrang okay ka na with the Oracle and the Tikiras. Meron siyang Bruceport Breastplate. Nagkaroon ng moment dito na nagkaroon ng 5-on-1 dito kay Sagitno, the Uranus, pero hindi nila napatumba agad. Again, total lane dominance. Napipilitan kasi ang Signal Ultra bumaba para matulungan si Chujin dito, and it was a dead lane para kay Chujin. Benny Cutie just outplaying him with, of course, the 1-1, the damage output, the ages. Talaga, hirap ang buhay ni Chujin para sa game na to. Let's look at the stats right now ng game natin ngayon. Orange buffs taken, purple buffs taken. Mas lamang dito ang side ng Execration. And because of the bottom side na si Chujin dito ang lumalamang, mas nagkakaroon ng space ngayon ng Execration ma-open up ang turtle buff. Si Benny Cutie. There you go. Kay Chujin, mas na-open up yung mga buffs para dito sa Exe. Hate also doing a great job on just securing every jungle na makukuha niya dito. Again, ito Max din doon sa gitna. Benny Cutie, hirap na hirap pumorma ang Signal Ultra. Hindi nila alam kung saan sila pupunta. Nagkaroon pa nga ng time ng game na nagpalit. Actually, nag-switch dito si Chujin at saka si Rhea ng lane para lang mabawasan yung damage output ni Benny Cutie. Pero huli na ang lahat kasi meron ng Demon Hunter Sword, meron ng Corrosion Sight. Talagang goods na si Benny Cutie, and it was all Team Execration. Now let's move on to our smart highlights of the game para makita natin dito. Man, there you go. That is the first outplay na nakuha dito ang Claude. And I can therefore say na lugi talaga ang Claude. Dahil nga, wala kang choice eh. Tatamaan ka dito ng Crossbow of Tang. Kahit anong mangyari. Kailangan mo dyan ay Wind of Nature na actually unang na-build dito ni Chujin. And because of the weakness finder, kung makikita nyo ngayon, the emblem, yun yung nag-create ng space dito sa side ng Execration para ma-dominate itong bottom side. Hindi lang bottom side, dahil lumilipat na nakikita nyo ngayon, ang team ng Signal Ultra sa baba, lahat ng lanes ay na-open dito para sa side ng Execration. Ito yung part na hinabol na nila si Sagitno, mag-isa, and look at the health of Sagitno, kalahati lang yung na-damage sa kanya. And ibig sabihin, bad news na yan sa Signal Ultra. Kung 5 kayo na sumusugod sa isang hero at hindi nyo napatay, once na nakita nyo na nabuhay at may isang kampi na dumating, alam nyo na kailangan nyong mag-back. And kung makikita natin ngayon, Signal Ultra, they're running for their lives kasi aatake na dito si Hate. There you go. At nandoon na rin si Chak Mamba mula sa likod at dyan naging mahirap na para sa side ng Signal Ultra ang laban na to para makabalik even Ito Max with all of the clutch damage output. Gusto ko lang pansinin kasi dito yung mga emblems natin mas aggressive ang Execration even though na sana mas mabilis ang rotation ng Signal Ultra because of the wings by wings at saka yung shield unity na meron dito ang back siya. Mas mauuna talaga dapat sila. But then again, they're playing it defensively because of the emblems. Makikita natin Vengeance, Purify, Retribution, 2 Purify, may Revitalize ka pa. So, mas leaning towards na Execration ang laging magsisimula. Kaya siguro, nagkakaroon ng mga deep dives dito si Etomax. Meron siyang Flame Shot, Aegis, gera tayo. There you go. And, yun na yun eh. I think, Chakno's capability dito to outplay, eto na. Yan, there you go. That was so smart. Clutch na to. Dahil kung hindi nangyari, itong outplay na to na ginawa ni Chakno, na depensahan pa actually sana ni Imba DJ yung mid lane. Hirap na hirap ang backshot, dumepensa dyan mag-isa. May ulti siya pero hindi magiging sapat yung ultimate niya, maubos yung minions. May 2 pa siyang kalaban. Si Hate buhay pa. No wave clear whatsoever. Instant win para sa side ng Execration. There you go. Sinusubukan lahat ni Ben Sanity. Ubusin ang minions. Pero hindi maaari. Dahil ang nanalo sa ating, ang nanalo at ang ating smart MVP of the game ay walang iba kundi ang tuklaw na si Chak Mamba. Kailangan natin i-drawing ang logo ni Chakno. Teka lang. Gagawa tayo logo ni Chakno. Paano ba yung logo ni Black Mamba? The Chak Mamba. Yan. Pwede na yan. The Chak Mamba logo. Ewan ko, ako lang gumawa niya. Mata yan, mata. Yeah, mata. Mata yan. Chakno is your MVP of the game. Congratulations para sa Execration. And wow, ang masasabi ko lang, pwede pang umabot actually sa game number 5 itong series na to sa ganoon ka-intense. Parehas ang plano ng 2 teams. Kagaya nga ng sinabi ng mga casters natin, magkaiba lang sa execution. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, bago tayo mag-end, syempre, tayo muna ay magpapakita dito ng suporta para sa inyong mga favorite teams. Ang kailangan nyo lang gawin ay mag-scan ng QR code na yan na nakikita nyo dyan sa baba. Scan nyo na dahil pwede nyo suportahan ang Team Execration na 1 win away at makakapunta na sila sa next round. Hashtag Exeshot. Siyempre, para naman sa mga supporters ng Signal Ultra, kailangan nyo lang gawin na scan itong QR code na to na nasa baba. Hashtag Laban Ultra. Ang tanong, magiging kalmado pa kaya ang Signal Ultra dahil isang talo na lang ay pwede na silang matsugi dito sa ating tournament. Of course, para sa lahat ng gustong sumuporta sa MPL, ay nandyan ang mplph.official na Facebook page. Dahil sa scan nyo ngayon at ilalike nyo dahil gusto nyo makakita ng mga latest news about sa ating favorite na tournament ng MLBB. Siyempre, kapag nakapag-scan ka, pwede ka pa scan at mag-fill up ng survey para manalo ka ng mga malulupit na prizes, skins, at kung ano-ano pa, nandyan yan. Ang gagawin mo lang ay mag-fill up ng survey, manood, and wow, pwede ka pang manalo. Speaking of of manalo, may mga chance rin kayo na makakuha ng mga skins. Bilisan nyo na! Yun oh, saktong-sakto. Giveaway code number 1. Type nyo na yan dahil baka kunin na ng iba. For sure, may mga tropa tayong solar hands na nakakuha na niyan. Dahil meron pa tayong pangalawa. Yan, screenshot, type, bilis, 85D, Q5580. Na-type nyo ba? Sana nakuha nyo yan. For sure, may nakakuha na. Congratulations. Pero huwag ka mag-alala dahil meron pang isa pa. Yan, men. Na nanonood ngayon, ikaw, i-type mo na lahat yan. Screenshot nyo na to. Dahil maraming salamat, dahil love na love namin kayo, bibigyan namin kayo ng napakaraming codes. Kunin nyo na, for sure, meron nang nag-message sa mga client nila at nakakuha na ng codes. Wow! Ibang klase ang best of 5 na experience na to. Kung siguro kung yung dating MPL to, naka-move on na ang execration. Pero, man, it's a best of 5. Signal Ultra, meron pa rin silang mga baon dito for sure. Pero yung momentum ngayon ay napunta sa execration. It's match point para sa execration. Ating kumustahin muna ang ating mga panelists para sa kanilang match point analysis. Leo, kumusta kayo?
Maraming salamat, Manjin. Okay pa naman kami. Actually, just enjoying the games. And to be honest, game 1 was super duper close.
Super.
Chin Valdez, Paolo Expert, my guys, I still can't get over the fact that the Chak Mamba played that well during game number 3. Ang ganda ng logo, sa totoo lang. Ang ganda ng logo na ginawa naman Manjin. And,
parang professional nga, professional talaga yun.
Kulang na lang i-render mo at lagay mo sa page.
Exactly.
Diba? And guys, I again cannot stress how pivotal and how significant the gameplay of Chakno was. We mentioned for game number 3 that Signal Ultra could have possibly had a better draft.
Yes.
And that going into the game, sobrang ganda dapat ng execution, ng execration para mapagana ito. And lo and behold, they figured it out. Napagana nila.
Right.
I think to put our discussion into some better context, we have to look at the game in chronological order. Diba?
Right.
Tingnan natin ang nangyari sa game number 1, what the draft looked like, sino nga ba ang dinala, anong mga sandata ang meron sa ating mga teams dito. Signal Ultra versus Execration. Game number 1, this is what it looked like. Surprisingly, itong game na to, yung nag-set ng standard. Ito yung nagsabi na parang, guys, itong laban na to, it's closer than you think. A lot of people walking into this gave the odds to Execration, given the experience, how well they played the season, and you know how unpredictable and just the same how unproven this Signal Ultra lineup is.
Right.
But Paolo, let's go through the details. Ano nga ba nangyari sa game number 1?
Actually, for this first game, guys, yung unpredictable, it went to the Execration side because I did not expect the Leomard pick, okay, on the gold lane. That was unexpected for me to pull out for Execration. Also, I actually believe that Exe had this draft on on game number 1 because they scaled a lot better than Signal Ultra's draft. If you're looking at it, they have Khalid for early game, Hilda for early game, which will most likely fall off late game. Yes, they do have Wanwan and Ling for late game, but I don't think the pressure of Khalid and Hilda would be enough to sustain for that later stage of the game. So I'm really surprised that actually Signal Ultra pulled it off on this game number 1.
Parang mabibitin, no?
Yes.
Parang mabibitin. And I think for the better part of that 30-minute game, give or take.
Yeah, it was 30 minutes.
Right.
Dapat lamang na Execration eh. Diba?
Yeah, I really thought they had it.
They have the regular season statistics to prove that when it goes late, panalo Execration. Chin, I gotta ask you, the play of the game, Hades.
Right.
That was the clutch point. Parang siya yung Chak Mamba dito. I'd hate to make that comparison since Chak Mamba's on the other side. But siya yung gumawa ng Lord Steel na parang, paano yung nagawa yun? Can you explain how that happened?
Actually, ako nagulat din ako doon kasi yung nga, binabox out siya eh. Binabox out siya ni Chak noon. And then I saw he was running towards bot na.
Ang layo na eh.
Malayo na. Tapos bigla siya nag-second skill papunta ulit sa sa Lord area. Kasi if you jump to the wall, they'll see you coming. So makikita nila, oy, lumilipad siling. May time yun, kahit sabihin natin half second lang. That's pretty long in Mobile Legends time.
Yeah.
Whereas yung second skill niya, teleport yun eh. So I don't know. I thought maybe I'm thinking maybe Execration thought, okay, success, boxed out na si Hades. But nope, surprise, it's a
Yep.
prank.
Yep.
I'm here.
No, by their own screens, nalaman nila agad kung sino yung nakakuha ng Lord. But I think
Right.
for us, the viewers, medyo matagal yung delay.
Right,
Di ba?
right. Oo.
And then, nung nakita natin, yung red team has taken Lord.
Oo nga.
Crazy. But that was game number 1, guys. And I think something tells me napagod yata yung signal doon. Kasi game 2 did not look the same. Alright? Game 2, this is what they got in. Rhea with the Esmeralda. And ito yung parang point of contention natin eh. Chujin on the Natalia, which came in super early. Parang first half of the draft pa lang, ilinabas nila yung Natalia. And Paolo, you'll agree with me with this.
Yes,
It's
I
very
do agree.
dangerous.
Yes,
Very
it is.
dangerous.
It's like a gamble pretty much when you first pick Natalia in the first phase of the draft, you know.
Parang wala kang sinasagot,
Yeah.
pero wala ka rin namang binibigyan na threat.
Yeah.
Not as solid. So, help us go through what happened here. Help us remember.
Actually, from what I noted here on my Death Note, yung execration, actually, they had a double red tree setup, which was
Yes.
super surprising for me. I did not expect that. So most likely, ang ginawa ni Roger, which was Benny Cutie, he was a gold lane Roger solo lane. He did not buy the jungle item until after the benefits from the gold lane is out, you know, and then he bought the jungle item afterwards. So he benefits from, you know, um,
That's